past Wizard Cups have provided a guide to the teams with designs on a place in the September sunshine. Last year, the Kangaroos bowed out in the opening round at the hands of a Melbourne team bound for the finals. The Roos season would be littered with disappointments and another year wasted. For Geelong, 2004 was a totally different story. Beginning with a barnstorming win against Port Adelaide, who were destined for bigger things.
Oh my goodness! Big Ben unloads a bomb!
Before the Saints took the title in a pre-season classic. Can the Cats go one step further as Bombers boys look to build a dynasty? It's the Kangaroos and Geelong in round one Wizard Cup action from the nation's capital.
On the first, it doesn't get much better than that.
It's a changing of the guard at Arden Street without the likes of Anthony Stevens and David King as the Kangaroos make their way out onto a very wet, wintry Manuka Oval here in Canberra for their round one Wizard clash against Geelong. There are the Cats. What a great season they enjoyed in 2004. Finished in 4th position, 15 wins and 7 losses. Pretty strong lineup there fielding as well this afternoon. It promises to be a great clash. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Manuka Oval in Canberra. Jason Bennett alongside Jason Dunstall. And Jace, tough conditions for the players to deal with, but these two sides coming from very different backgrounds. The Kangaroos looking to gain some lost ground, the Geelong looking to maintain the momentum.
Yeah, most definitely. Geelong, along with St Kilda, one of the big improvers in 2004, but the hard part is continuing that momentum. It'll be interesting to see whether they've done the hard yards, whether they're ready to go this early in the season. You do know one thing about Dean Laley, his team will be cherry ripe. They'll be ready to go.
Some great football already this weekend in the first round of the Wizard Cup. Let's take a look at the results. Collingwood and West Coast winners by 7 points on Friday night. Then yesterday, a double header at the Telstra Dome. The Bulldogs by 20 over Sydney and St Kilda by 9 points over a Gallen Hawthorn. Last night in Cairns, Melbourne, good winners over the Brisbane Lions. Sets up a belter of a game next Saturday night. Live and exclusive around the country on Fox Footy. West Coast taking on Collingwood at Marara Oval in Darwin. And don't forget as well, later on this evening, Adelaide and Port Adelaide, the showdown, live and exclusive also on Fox Footy. Well, the two squads, let's take a look at them, Jace. They've both picked up some experience, particularly the Kangaroos here, I guess, in the form of Thompson and Piccioni, two Hawks coming into that lineup.
Yeah, some familiar faces. Nathan Thompson will give some much-needed support for Sab Rocker up forward. I guess at times he'll also spend a little bit of time on the ball. And Lance Piccioni already, he's been earmarked by Kangaroos coach Dean Laley as giving them some added aggression. He wants him to throw his weight around and he doesn't mind doing that.
And the Geelong side, well, they've picked up one big-name recruit in Brad Ottens and also, I guess, picked up a recruit of sorts in James Kelly, who missed the second half of last season.
Yeah, most definitely. The spotlight will be quite firmly upon Brad Ottens. He's come with big raps. He was on an exorbitant wage at Richmond. Didn't always live up to that price tag. He's going to carry the same sort of expectations down here. They need a big man that can fire like that, can play key forward. And James Kelly recovering from a broken leg, one of the most skillful players going around.
There is Brad Ottens wearing the number 6 Guernsey at the Cattery this season. Let's take a look at the two records of these sides in pre-season competition. Since 2000, they've both played 16 games. The Kangaroos with a superior record. They're 11-5. The Cats 8-8, despite making it all the way to the grand final last year, where they went down to St Kilda, as we mentioned earlier. Well, we've spoken about the recruits here at Fox Footy. We've got some recruits as well, including the man sitting next to me, Jason Dunstall, and former Swan, Brad Seymour. Here he is.
Thank you, Jason. Joining me down here is 5-time day premiership player Gary Ayres. Gary, they've been preparing all summer long in the hot conditions. How are they going to adapt?
Well, I'd be telling them, Brad, to actually get their head over the ball, body in line, and certainly not try and do too much too early, because the fact they have been training in quite good conditions, so it'll be who makes the least mistakes if this weather persists.
And it is going to persist. I can report currently 17 degrees and conditions only going to get worse with thunderstorms and showers due late this afternoon. Back to you, Jason. That's all from down here.
Well, if you haven't seen Fox Footy over the weekend, we're going to show you our new on-screen graphics package. The ticker with all the information and scores, there it is on the bottom of your screen. All the information, all the stats, all the updates that you need to see right throughout the afternoon. Throughout 2005, the new graphics look for Fox Footy. Well, as we mentioned, it's pretty difficult conditions here in Canberra. Testing times for both these sides. We're back with all the action from this round one clash. The Kangaroos and Geelong from Canberra right after this. In Canberra, as you can see, very, very testing conditions for both sides. Thunderstorms, a lot of heavy rain around. The Super Sop has been working overtime down on the ground. The two teams coming together for the pre-match formalities. the Kangaroos and Geelong. The Roos, as I mentioned, 10th position last season, 2 games out of the finals. Geelong, well, they were revitalised back in the September action, finished in 4th position with 15 wins and 7 losses. There's Paul Chapman, David Johnson. Both these teams fielding pretty strong lineups this afternoon. Not too many new faces to have a look at as we head downstairs for the pre-match formalities.
And gentlemen, on Boxing Day last year, our region was deeply affected by the events of the Asian tsunami. Many thousands of lives were lost and many more affected forever. But the response and the generosity of the Australian community has been an inspiration to all. The AFL, the clubs, the players and umpires ask you to join them in observing a minute's silence at the commencement of the new season in memory of those whose lives were lost. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Also joining us in commentary this afternoon at Fox Footy, and what a lineup we've got here. 941 games, 14 premierships, 10 best and fairest between the 4 of us. Jason Dunstall, Gary Ayres, Jason Bennett and Richmond legend Kevin Bartlett. G'day, KB.
G'day, Jason. It's great to have Gary Ayres and, of course, Jason with us as well. It's going to be a fantastic game. Looking forward to this one. Some
new rules for the Wizard Cup, KB. We've seen them in place across the weekend, and to keep an eye on this afternoon as we take a look at some of those new rules.
Well, we've got the 17.5 minutes, of course. 6 interchange players. 9 points for the super goal. That's a beauty if you can get it. And, of course, if you hit the post, don't forget it's play on. Clubs, of course, can use some rookie-listed players during the Wizard Cup. And the centre bounce only, and, of course, when a goal is scored. Otherwise, the ball would be thrown up around the ground. 2 centre circles. You can see that today. That's so that the ruckmen don't go killing each other this year and crashing into each other. It's a very important rule that's been brought in. 10-metre throw-ins. You'll see the boundary umpires come in because we don't want too many boundary throw-ins in the game. No mark if you mark it if it's kicked backwards, unless it's inside the attacking 50.
There's a toss of the coin. Cameron Ling standing in for Stephen King this afternoon. Kangaroos have won the toss through Adam Simpson. As we head boundary side, here's Brad Seymour.
Thank you, Jason. Just a quick one. Mark Fraser, ex-Essendon and Collingwood player, officiating his first official match today.
Good luck to Mark Fraser and all the umpires being trialled throughout the Wizard Cup. Opportunity for them as well as the young players, also for the young umpires to get themselves onto a senior list for season 2005. Jason Dunstall, Gary Ayres, we discussed the conditions, testing ones for the players, the game plans, a little bit rusty on the skills front as well, and today all that pretty much goes straight out the window.
Oh, most definitely. We heard Ayresy talking about it in the preview before with Brad. It's just you have to do the simple things, get the body in line with the ball and don't try to be too fancy.
It mightn't actually be too bad though, Jace, today, because a lot of these teams train in the morning now, and of course the conditions over the summer have actually been quite dewy, especially around about sort of 9-10 o'clock in the morning, so it actually mightn't be too bad.
Let's take a look at the family tree for the Wizard Cup. It is a knockout competition. We've gone through the results so far across the first weekend. Next weekend it'll be St Kilda taking on the Bulldogs. Melbourne will play the winner of Carlton and Essendon. They meet at the Telstra Dome later on this evening. That's from Group A. Group B, the Wizard Cup, while West Coast and Collingwood live and exclusive from Darwin next Saturday night. In this game, the Kangaroos and Geelong, the winner will go through to face the winner of Adelaide and Port Adelaide. You'll also see that game on Fox later on tonight. A bit of pushing and shoving early on. Paul Chapman, Lee Brown. Lee Brown looks to have the job on Brad Ottens. There's Big Sav.
Jace, it looks like they're starting young Gary Ablett out of the goal square there.
Yeah, all on his own, giving him plenty of room to operate, and he's such an effective ground player. I mean, as soon as the ball hits the deck, he has that unique ability to almost keep full pace and bend down and pick the ball up, and there's very few players that can do that in these sort of conditions. Might be a very effective tactic.
As we see some lightning break over Monica Oval, that'll be something the AFL officials will keep a close eye on. As Brad Ottens and Lee Brown standing about 35 metres out from the Geelong goal. The Cats will kick to the left of screen in the opening term. As the boys mentioned, Gary Ablett one-on-one with Makepeace in the goal square, just getting rid of the super soppers. There's some thunder cracking over Monica as well. Might only be mid-February, but the gods have certainly got us in a football mode here this afternoon. You won't find a wetter and more wintry day in the middle of July.
two acquisitions to the clubs too that are playing here today, Jace. There's also Brad Ottens for Geelong and, of course, Nathan Thompson for the Kangaroos. So be very interested to see how those two boys go today. Considering it is wet, they might not have the effect that they normally would.
Not ideal conditions for the big men. Full credit to the crowd who have turned up here this afternoon. Hardy souls sitting out in the rain, wrapped in plastic. The umbrellas. Hurry up, we're getting wet's the call in the crowd. Fair enough too. Round one of the Wizard Cup. The Kangaroos and Geelong at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Thanks for joining us right around Australia on Fox Footy. Shannon Grant gets the first handball of the game away. There's a free kick. It's coming back over the shoulder. It's going the way of Geelong. Going to their young up-and-comer Andrew Mackie. Kingsley leads short, heads in that direction, further afield to Ottens at forward 50. Early touch for him, couldn't take clean disposal. Caught one in the back and he'll get a free kick. Good start for Brad Ottens to get an early possession, get straight into the action. A few nerves from him.
He's tried for a cheap 50 there, just open the arms and let the ball go through.
Ottens. Awkward looking kick off the instep and it slews over the line and out of bounds 45 metres from goal. I bumped into Brad at the hotel last night. He was pretty relaxed. He's moved down to Geelong. I think he's quite enjoying not having the spotlight on him over the summer.
Another move there too is David Wojcinski looks like he's tagging Brent Harvey.
Throw in. Chambers at the front. Quick kick into the centre of the ground. Look at the surface water there. Players having to deal with it. Was Tenace almost drowned in the centre square. Bouncing ball out towards the wing. Mooney gives away a free kick.
Just lacks a little bit of subtlety at times, Cameron Mooney, doesn't he?
And there's Nathan Thompson in the new strip. A white strip the Kangaroos wearing for the Wizard Cup this afternoon. The all-white. Inside 50. Big Sav crashes the pack. Three men up against him. At ground level, it's still alive for Harvey. Dangerous in these conditions. Shannon Grant got some time to square it up and finds a target, Simpson. All the usual suspects. They'll be so important for the Kangaroos this year. Harvey, Grant and Simpson.
It was just good use of the corridor too by Shannon Grant. He's a very clever player. Swung back onto that left foot. Found Adam Simpson in the corridor and now he's got a good chance to put their first goal on the board.
It's funny, there are a couple of options for the hand pass in the pocket too, and I think players tend to use the better known players, the ones that can use the ball better if they have the option. Doesn't
kick a lot of goals, an area of his game I guess he'd like to probably work on. He only kicked 4 goals for the season last year. He gets an awful lot of the football. On this occasion he's just pushed it out to the left-hand side, through for a minor score. The opening score of the game goes to the Kangaroos and their skipper Adam Simpson.
Probably not the ideal conditions for Brad Ottens today. I wouldn't think, Gary. We've learnt to see him over the years take the big marks for the Tigers, and in the finals last year that's what they lacked. When they got it forward against the Brisbane Lions, they just couldn't make anything of it, could they?
No, they couldn't, and he certainly seems to be playing a little bit further out from the goal square today as well, with, as I said, young Gary Ablett playing out of the goal square at the moment.
Corey Jones just kicking a high ball over the line and out of bounds. So Scarlett just trots away, the All-Australian fullback. It's a shocking kick. We're going to see a lot of that today off the side of the boot. Thought Ottens before should have gone to the goal square rather than kick to Gary Ablett, because it's going to be very difficult to handle the ball as Stevens pumps the ball back. Chance for Harvey, such a dangerous man under these conditions, and straight through the centre. So first blood to the Kangaroos.
Well, he is one of the most dangerous players going around. Again, another one that thrives at ground level. Brent Harvey, lightning quick, just reading the ball off the pack a little bit better than those around him. And quite often you find in a normal game players getting front and square, but on a wet day like this, a lot of them will be slipping through hands and going over the back. That's where Brent Harvey was situated and finished very, very well.
Had the first real down point in his career last year. Had an ankle injury, struggled with it for much of the season. Finished 10th in the best and fairest. His numbers were way down. He set himself for a big 2005. As we know, when he's up and going, such a dynamic player. Gets a lot of the ball and kicks goals as well. Bartel goes off the deck. Soccer's inside 50. It's an open forward line for Geelong. Playfair, who's muscled up considerably over the summer. His opponent, Joel Perry, youngster for the Kangaroos. There's a free kick. It's going the way of the Roos. It's going to Daniel Harris. Didn't he come into his own last year? Enormous talent in the midfield. Shannon Watt. Number 1 fullback option. It's an ordinary kick. Good gather from Mackie. Clean hands. He was wrapped up. Wojcinski tries to burst through. Ball still alive for Harvey. He's wrapped up by Rook. Toe poked forward. Rawlings get on the end of it. Little give to Grant. In the slippery conditions, just a touch fierce for Daniel Harris. That opened the door for the Cats again, but Rawlings goes back, wins the football. Gets it to Makepeace. High ball. Standing underneath it is Kane Tenace.
It's just going to be a day too, Jason, that you expect the unexpected, because really there's no going to be that ability to be sure with your hands and just expect something to come off the ground or off someone else's hands in a pack.
Low trajectory kick inside 50. Not surprising, the ball goes to the back of the pack, as it will regularly in these conditions.
He's in trouble.
And that's holding the ball.
Actually, I'm surprised a lot more players haven't got the long sleeve jumper, considering it's actually pretty wet.
Free kick against Henry Playfair. The Kangaroos look to switch play. Rawlings will go to the back pocket. Fine Joel Perry, 19-year-old from Upper Ferntree Gully in Melbourne's East. He goes over the top to a man who needs little introduction, Daniel Wells.
Well, I saw him here last year, Daniel Wells. He was just absolutely exhilarating. Unfortunately, that kick wasn't, and it's over the line. So we've got a boundary throw. We've got the 231. We've got Chambers, of course, in the ruck against young Hale. And a lot of is expected of David Hale to come through for the Kangaroos. Corey McKern has been there over the last few years, and Spider Burton. But they've been grooming David Hale, and he needs to take a big step for the Kangaroos. Lost some experience at the end of last season, of course, with Stevens and King retiring. A lot of football there, a lot of experience around the Kangaroos. Got some good young players. This is going to be a very testing year. Hunt goes to the ground, tried to slide on top of the ball. Rocker wants a free kick, he'll get a ball up.
Another midfielder that Geelong would be hoping for big things will be James Kelly, to come back from his broken ankle late last year. And he's done a terrific job to get back to playing so early in the season.
He was badly missed during the finals, wasn't he? He was a super player, James Kelly. Here's a chance for Harvey, the danger man, or he's kicked a goal. Wild hand pass back, under a lot of pressure. Geelong will set it up through Scarlett, gives it across to James Bartel, took one of the great marks last year and had a great season. And young Mackie sees the ball over the line and a toss back in. Mackie was one of those young boys they just had on their list, took him early in the draft, been nurturing for a couple of years, came to the side last year, kicked 3 goals on 2 occasions. This wasn't quite there during the finals. Here's a chance for Chambers, works the ball to the front. Sinclair happy to kick the ball off the ground. Cats want a free kick, they'll get a boundary throw in. Big year, I think, Jason, for the Cats, when you consider last year they probably should have got through to the grand final. They had all the play against the Brisbane Lions, had about, 40 more times inside 50, just lacked that key forward, just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, they did, and it's not always easy to butter up off a season like that, KB, and pick up where you left off. So they've got a lot of hard groundwork to do again before they get anywhere near that sort of stage in 2005.
Certainly carrying distinctly more expectations than this time last year.
And Gary, that could be a problem around Geelong. You used to coach the Cats, the hometown there. They have high expectations when they look like they can make the finals and win a flag.
It'll be huge, and of course it's good for Geelong though, because they've been probably 5 or 6 years in the building, and I think Bomber Thompson's got a very capable side. But as Jason also alluded to, they've got to make it happen. It just won't happen as a formality that they made the finals last year.
Free kick picked out on centre wing. Daniel Pratt, his second run at the Kangaroos after a stint at Brisbane. Inside 50, Thompson at the front against Mooney. Slapped on over the back. Geelong have the numbers. Wojcinski to tidy up. Such an important player off half back. Just run and drive. Ordinary kick, but it worked out okay to Enright. The Cats through Josh Hunt. Penetrating left boot. Pumps it out towards the wing. Mackie forces a contest. Brings it to ground against Pratt. Chapman went off the deck, and that'll be kicking in danger. Free kick to Jess Sinclair.
Hasn't done himself any favours either, Paul Chapman, limping after that, going in hard with the boot, catching the body of Jess Sinclair.
Sinclair wastes no time, plays on. Tumbling kick inside 50. Thompson flew early at the back of the contest. He did well. Good effort there from Corey Jones. Harvey might be the beneficiary, goes off the deck but misses. Good effort from Corey Jones. He flew in the air and then laid a tackle at ground level to put the Geelong defence under pressure. Opportunity bobbed up for Harvey, couldn't quite get enough purchase on it.
They're making all the running at the moment, the Kangaroos. Certainly their ability to get it quickly inside forward 50 has got the Geelong defence under a little bit of pressure.
Hunt will go short to Mooney. Josh Hunt, the best kick-in exponent in the business last year. Such an attacking weapon from full-back for the Cats. Mooney's kick was at the bootstraps of Tenace, put him under pressure. Ooh. Some heavy body on body against Mooney to Jones. Harvey picks it up, has a snap for goal. That'll be play on. No score in the Wizard Cup. Josh Hunt bangs it on the boot. Bartel tracks it to the line.
You wonder about that advantage rule at times. A snap over the shoulder as opposed to a set shot 20 metres out directly in front. Probably better off pulling it up the umpire, but endeavouring to let the game flow.
Heavy work there from Cameron Mooney. Glancing blow on Corey Jones, maybe slightly more than that.
He's on a bit of a mission today already, Cameron, isn't he? Throwing his weight around.
Rook gathers the loose ball. Good diving mark from Jess Sinclair on centre wing, and the Kangaroos will go forward once more.
Cross half-back can be a very attacking player. Not his best year last year, as Rawlings had a stellar season, winning the best and fairest inside 50. That was thumped away that time by Hunt. Chance now for Kelly, caught high, should take the free kick. It was not seen by the umpire. Pounced on this time by Grant, runs just from outside 50. Dangerous kick. Dangerous for the Cats. And the Kangaroos are looking very, very sharp.
8th possession coming up for Brent Harvey.
Well, this man, when he's at his best, I mean, he's a star. He's one of the best small players in the competition.
And he's got such a huge work ethic too, Kevin. His ability to travel from one end of the ground to the other. And I mentioned before that David Wojcinski seemed to be basically running with him, and it might be a consideration for Bomber Thompson to actually make a move this early in the game, because as Kevin's highlighted, 8 possessions, and he's basically going for his second goal.
And he'd be fired up because last year, well below his best last year for Brent Harvey.
David Hale off the ground for the Kangaroos. Motlop coming on to replace him, and Petrie probably likely to go into the ruck.
Just 35 metres out directly in front. And Harvey usually is a dead-eye dick. Doesn't like it. Through for a minor score.
It's a bad miss, just stabbed at the ball, Brent Harvey.
It's one of the great goal kickers, Jason. It's a bit difficult when it's a bit wet and slippery. You don't feel like you can get your footing.
No, that's right. You've got to make sure everything's in a straight line too, otherwise you're going to slew straight off the side of the boot.
In right. Just slides into the ball, plus gets 50 metres. So Ottens is playing just outside the goal square. They did start with Gary Ablett in the goal square, but he's now moved up outside centre half forward. In right. From inside the centre square, goes wide and finds Nathan Thompson just backing back. Changing clubs, of course, from the Hawks to Daniel Wells. Just lopes away with the ball from half back, looking for Motlop, who was looking for a free kick as the ball slides over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Cam Mooney just came off there too for young Johnson, so they may be going just a little bit smaller in defence possibly.
And Thompson's the one that's gone into the ruck for the Kangaroos.
7 inside 50s to 3. Kangaroos have had the last 5 of them, have dominated proceedings early. Like a better return for their investment so far. Wells taken down by Enright. Harris tries to keep it alive, can't do so. They'll have another throw in. There'll be lots of stoppages this afternoon. Expect a heavy rotation of the big men.
You would, Jason. Also, too, I think it's just a matter of trying to gain some yardage when it's so wet today. That'll be pretty important in these conditions, as we've already highlighted.
Thompson will go against Chambers. Chambers got the tap. It was down to Bartel. It was nicely worked. Just couldn't get effective disposal away. Thompson slapped it out into open space, and here's Harvey again, his 9th touch. Rocker and Makepeace collide, and Rocker goes down. Wore that one heavily, did Sav Rocker. He is hurt. Michael Stevens soccers off the deck. Inside 50, awkward one for Motlop, couldn't collect. Clean hands from Tenace. To Chapman on the wing, and the Cats now with an opportunity. Chapman in space, he is creative. Spears towards half forward. Kingsley came thundering out. Clears that contest at the back. Sinclair leads Shannon Burns, but Burns is lightning quick. In the end, Sinclair's kick dribbles to the line for a throw-in. Shannon Burns seized his opportunity. Had a good year in the VFL in 2003. Got a chance last year off the rookie list. Played 4 games and is now onto the senior list. And there's Sav copping the shoulder of Troy Makepeace on the way through. He's up and looks to be okay. Harris in there scrapping hard. Kangaroos work it out of the danger zone. Tenace one-on-one with Stevens. Tenace to keep it alive was clever. Knew he had some support in the form of Wojcinski. Inboard to Bartel. Thought about playing on and was called to play on. Sinclair laid the tackle. Simpson in over the ball. Jones fell over the top of it. Now Wells. Rawlings. High ball to the wing. Great contest. Rook couldn't quite bring it down. Harvey at ground level. Good slick hands to Jones. Dribbles the kick forward. Rocker goes the toe poke. A good option in the end, and again just gains territory as Gary Ayre suggested. Inside 50, a 2-on-2. Motlop's hands a bit fierce for Petrie. He's under pressure. Motlop keeps coming. Chapman the other way, lays body on body. Chapman wins the football. It was a big play for the Cats. Here's Mooney to half forward. Burns has to stand and wait, and he'll receive a free kick against Jess Sinclair. And Chapman hurt, just a little bit sore, maybe caught a stinger on the shoulder after that big hit.
It was a good change from Bomber Thompson. Cam Mooney came straight on. Chambers went off and was involved in that play.
Burns to the pocket looking for Ottens. It's a low percentage play on a day like today. Here's the magical Ablett. Keeps it alive to Brad Ottens, who sprays it wide, out of bounds on the full. Really glimpse of the Ablett magic.
Does tend to play his best football when he's that big ruck roving type, Karen Mooney, doesn't he? As opposed to playing a key position, particularly down back.
Kangaroos look very sharp. Nathan Thompson comes away from half back to the half forward line. A lot of carry on the ball, Harvey. It's a free kick in the back. And he has been the star in this first quarter.
Looks like they may have made that move, Kev. Looks like Rook is on Harvey.
So Wazinski has been given a bit of a rest. There's great mark taken by Scarlett, who bursts away. He's on the charge. Nearly copped a high one. Very lucky there for Scarlett. Pounced on by Stevens, comes away from the centre of the ground for the Kangaroos, goes wide. Chapman's going to close quickly. Not fast enough, and Big Sav marks on his chest. Too far out the score, goes short, looking for Motlop. Had a glance over the shoulder, wants to get around his opponent, tries to hook it back. Way offline. It's been touched, so it's a boundary throw-in.
David Wojcinski, the preferred creative option off half-back to play as a loose man, Gary. They've obviously looked to free him up to get a bit of run and drive.
That's right, Jason. He does play as that rebounding half-back, and you quite often see him running through the middle and taking the opposition on and having a bounce and then driving it long to the goal square. So he's a real attacking player off half-back.
Thompson did well, won the contest to Piccioni. Man with the dancing feet, dances on a dollar. He's off target. Through for a behind.
It mightn't be a bad change for the Cats. Wojcinski now finding himself on the ball. It's interesting, Brady Rawlings is running with Cameron Ling, but Ling's endeavouring to break the tag by going to Adam Simpson, and the Kangaroos do it pretty well because as soon as they win the ball, they try to go through Brady Rawlings, who then breaks free.
Is Nathan Thompson a better ruckman or forward, Jason?
Look, he looks terrific up forward, but I've always thought he plays his best football on the ball as a ruckman, KB.
Be interesting to see where they actually do play him this year. Got Corey McKernan and Young Hale as well, whether or not they do see him as their ruckman change forward or whether they see him as the key forward who has a run in the ruck. Here's a chance for Wells, just slides onto the ball. He's got that wonderful vision, goes wide, finds Daniel Harris. Closing quickly with Wazinski then. Great chasing. Rook goes to ground. Hard to keep your feet. Here's Harvey. Magic hands. Brent Harvey wants to take him on. He's been caught. Just the conditions beat Brent Harvey on that occasion. Mackie just caught from behind, thumped away. Ling slides into Piccioni, going in very hard. Chance for Enright, back to Mackie. The Cats on the charge, inside 50. Otten's playing in front of Brown. Couldn't quite take it. Here's Ablett. Out towards Mackie, a deft touch on from Enright. Wrapped up in the tackle on 50, and Ablett stands and delivers. And has missed to the right.
They'd probably be a little bit disappointed, actually, the Kangaroos. They've had inside 50s, 12, Geelong 6, and they really should be a little bit further in front if they'd have been able to kick a bit straighter, Jason.
Most definitely. Wasted opportunities. And they do come back to haunt you.
61 possessions to 39 in favour of the Roos. Had a lot more of the football. Geelong's first score coming 17 minutes into the opening term. Behind to Gary Ablett. Here's Pratt. Goes towards half forward. Harvey again his target. One-on-one with Rook. Harley at the back commits his body, as does Archer. Rook. Archer. Throw in. Jared Rook looks to have put on some muscle as well over the summer. Most improved player in 2003. Suffered some injury problems last season. Just the 11 games. Had a shin problem and then a thigh problem late in the season. Missed the finals. Harley into open space. It's a foot race. Michael Stevens and Makepeace for the Roos. Play fair there for the Cats. Makepeace wins it. Across the body towards half forward. Simpson. He's got a little bit of time. Goes to his preferred left. Wasn't quite balanced as he kicked it. Rook tries to flip it on towards Hunt. He does likewise to Bartel. Archer runs him down, and now Wojcinski off half back. Steps his man through the middle. It's suddenly opened up for Wojcinski. Decides to bounce. Confronted by Wells, and over he goes. The turnover could be costly. All the Geelong players had run forward. Rawlings on the end of it. Inside 50. Motlop disposes of his man. Can run into an open goal from 15 metres out. Makes it pay. So the turnover in the middle of the ground, a costly one for Geelong. Daniel Motlop one-on-one, nudged his man under the contest. And of course, in those situations, you're sliding along on your knees. There's not much you can do about it, Jace, as the ball goes the other way.
He should have, Jace, he should have been watching earlier on. We saw the super stopper out
yes,
there.
We did.
He just pushed his luck. He pushed his luck with you because he got away with the first bounce and he thought, well, if I've done it once, I can do this again, and then hit a puddle.
No chance for David Johnson as he goes aquaplaning across towards the 50. And an easy goal in the end for Motlop. So the Kangaroos by 15 points, 20 minutes gone in the opening term.
Yes, the super stopper was just pushing water through that centre square. Looked like the Niagara Falls. If you had seen that, I don't think he would have bounced the ball. 16 to 1 point, so 2-4 to 1 behind to Geelong. So the Kangaroos, very, very good in this opening quarter. Just under 3.5 minutes left. Kangaroos finished 10th last year, 10th the year before under Dean Laidley. They've just missed out when it's come to crunch time towards the finals, just haven't been able to maintain the efforts throughout the course of the season. Maybe this year could be the start of big things for the Kangaroos. Archer. Wouldn't take it.
The people at home wouldn't see that, but what Brent Harvey did is he started in the centre bounce and he let Jared Rook take the ball and actually push forward towards Geelong's forward area, and he snuck out the back and was on his own inside the forward 50 for quite some time. So if Archer had got it, it would have been to Harvey and possibly another goal.
Caught from behind that time was Hale. Couldn't get his hands on the ball. It's going to be very tough in close. Mooney loves to tackle, loves to just in the clinches, likes to make it nice and tough and hard, and so does Rook. You can see there the ball spills out to Harvey. Man who's on fire at the moment. He's absolutely magic to the front of the goal square. Kicked off the ground that time by Scarlett. Too much on the ball. Just overcooked it, taken by Stevens. Tried to centre the ball. Rawlings. Mooney was caught too high in the tackle and will take the free kick.
He did well, Cameron Mooney. He knew he was about to get tackled, so he just didn't take possession of the ball.
Well, last year Mooney was terrific. He either played in the ruck or they played him down back at centre-half back. It's one of the reasons why the Cats had such a fantastic season. Here's Riccardi, an impact player last year as well, coming off the interchange bench. Still can kick a goal, Peter Riccardi. And he's trying to milk 50 as well. 260-odd games. So Peter Riccardi across half-back says, stand the mark. Goes for the big torp, just flops it off the boot. Ablett playing in front, just couldn't quite hang on to the chest mark. Taken by Kelly, front of the pack. Looking for Kent Kingsley. He's got Watt the beat, who's going to be the consummate defender, and he won't be able to pick up that ball, and it'll just happen to roll over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
To me, the Kangaroos just seem to have a bit better system at the moment, Jace. Geelong seem to be very much under pressure all the time. Can't really get any run off half-back and get it in quickly to their forwards. Yeah, they've got the right balance, Kangaroos, between not overusing the ball but still getting some run, as opposed to Geelong, who are just bombing it out of defence, basically.
Is the veteran Riccardi, oldest player on the Geelong list, 10th oldest in the AFL this season. Koularitis from outside 50. High ball towards the square. Brown comes over the top. It's through for a minor score.
Interesting, Gary Lee Brown playing in defence. Did he kick 6 goals against you last year?
Yes, he did actually in the first round, and he played extremely well and actually gave Ben Hutt and Nigel Smart a bit of a hard time, so he certainly had a terrific game that day.
Brown gets it again, goes long towards Sinclair on the wing, and the ball goes out of bounds.
What we saw then is he's pretty quick.
He is, and he played a lot in defence for the Dockers, and it'll be interesting to see, because I remember reading where Dean Laidley said that he wouldn't play Lee Cole but at centre-half back, so it probably gives an opportunity for Lee Brown to make a name as a key position.
Throw in. Mooney against Hale. Pile in from all sides. The bounce. Just over a minute remaining in the opening term. It's been a good one for the Kangaroos. Dominated possession. Dominated inside 50, 16-7 in favour of the Kangas. Hale again against Mooney. Falls at their feet. Kelly through traffic. Handball and then a slap forward. Wojcinski under pressure. Hunt goes off the ground. Thumps it long. Thumps it wide. It's out on the full. So the Roos a chance for one more foray forward. 45 seconds on the clock. The ball's with Daniel Pratt. 3 games for the Brisbane Lions last season. Goes towards 50, but it'll be cut off onto the chest of Cameron Mooney. So maybe the chance for the Cats to have one more roll of the dice in the opening term. Harley into open space. Ottens picked off by Piccioni. And now the Roos will go towards half forward. Motlop, David Johnson. Motlop gathers, just slips away from Johnson, keeps it alive. 20 seconds on the clock in the opening term. Goes to the pocket, diving effort from Harding, couldn't hang on. Rook will tidy up for the Cats. Back to Cameron Mooney. He's been prominent in the opening term. He finds Enright. Geelong again go through the middle of the ground. The ball's with Wojcinski. Need a kick and a mark in a hurry. Siren's going to sound. Right on quarter time. The mark will be paid to Henry Playfair, and he will go back and shoot from just inside 50 after the quarter time siren for a badly needed goal for the Cats. It's been hard work in this opening term for little reward.
They certainly haven't played as well as the Kangaroos, Geelong, but of course if this goal scored, Jace, it just gives them a good impetus to go into that second quarter, and it'll only put them 8 points down when really the Kangaroos have had the majority of the play. 6
goals last season for Henry Playfair. Right on 50. Tough to go the journey from there. In the end, they get one behind. So quarter time at Manuka Oval. A good opening term from the Kangaroos. Dean Laidley will head to that huddle pretty content with what he saw.
So quarter time at
Having said that, the margin just 13 points. The Kangaroos 2-4-16. Geelong 3 behinds. The goal kickers in that opening term, Brent Harvey and Daniel Motlop. Harvey leading the game with 12 possessions. Rawlings has 8, while Scarlett and Wojcinski 7 apiece for the Cats. Quarter time at Manuka. The Roos by 13 points. Quarter time at Manuka Oval in Canberra. The Kangaroos with the better of that opening. They're 2-4-16. The Cats 3 behinds. Brent Harvey, the star of the opening term, with a goal and 12 possessions. Brady Rawlings with 8, Simpson with 7, while Scarlett and Wojcinski 7 for the Cats. Both of those players playing exclusively in the back half of Geelong. They were under siege for much of that opening quarter, Jason Dunsell and Gary Ayres.
They were, and we were just off air talking about the difference in styles, and you look at the use of the ball. The Kangaroos with more possession, but they're averaging 3.5 kicks per handball, whereas Geelong, it's virtually 2 kicks per handball. It's just not the right way to go around using the ball, and Kangaroos are a lot more efficient when they go forward.
Daniel Motlop with the second goal for the Kangaroos in that opening term. As we take a look at the numbers, Gary, Kangaroos with more disposals, 25% more contested possessions, which is important in these conditions, and it all adds up to that bottom stat, 17-8, the inside 50s.
Well, that's a damning statistic when you look at it, Jason. They've actually had 17 inside 50s to 8, and look, I just don't think Geelong are playing very well at all. And the Kangaroos have been hard at it. You've got to put your body in, you've got to put your body over the ball, and to me, these conditions certainly seem to be suiting the Kangaroos better. And I just think there was one important move that was made just before quarter time, in that Dean Laidley took Brent Harvey off the ground, who'd been the chief possession winner, and by taking him off a minute and a half before quarter time, he just gets a longer break, and in these conditions it's going to be important.
Let's head boundary side. Here's Brad Seymour.
Thanks, Jason. Bomber Thompson's message very clear. Put your head over the ball and your body in line with the ball, as where Dean Laidley was very cool, calm and collected at quarter time.
Yes, Bomber Thompson very animated in his discussions. Came out and gave his players a real bake, and that was the way Bomber played his footy. Head down over the football and straight ahead, Jace.
Yeah, it certainly was, and they've just lightened their balance up a little up forward, the Kangaroos. Sav Rocker having a spell on the bench, Nathan Thompson operating out of the goal square. Hale also on the bench, so that leaves Petrie in the centre square as the ruckman. So basically just the one tall up forward. That's Nathan Thompson for the Kangaroos. So much of the ball being on the ground today.
Sluggish start for the Cats, but the damage only 13 points. That's their deficit at quarter time as we start the second term at Manuka. Chambers in the ruck. Up against Petrie. Ling got hands on the football. He's wrapped up by Harris. Cameron Ling just the one possession in that opening term. Played all 26 minutes, just one handball.
The spark might be too, Jace, is to throw Gary Ablett on the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe that could get things going for them a little bit in the midfield, because certainly Kangaroos' midfield's been superior to Geelong's.
Yeah, it has. They've already they've made one change. They've put Bartel onto Simpson, it looks now.
It's Bartel who got the kick away from that congestion. Riccardi goes off the deck. Soccer's inside 50 momentarily. Perry to Wells to Lee Brown. Cats scrapping hard around the outer side. Here's Joel Perry again. Take possession. Kelly, high ball to 50. Pratt over the front of the contest. Ablett couldn't quite hang on to the slippery football. Playfair dispossessed. Ling flips it out into the path of Riccardi. He keeps it in front of him. Good body pressure from Perry. Riccardi still going. Still going, Peter Riccardi. Now Rawlings. High ball. Tenace against Simpson. It's a tough scrap in there at the moment. Stevens dispossessed by Ablett. Quick hands. Got it to boot. In a heartbeat. The ball eventually out of bounds for a throw in.
It was terrific the way he got his foot to the ball then, Gary Ablett. He's got quick reaction time, hasn't he?
He has, and he thinks that little bit quicker than the average player. That's what makes him such a good player.
2-4-16, the Kangaroos. The lead by 13 points. The Cats just 3 behinds. Lee Brown doing the ruck work against Ottens. Taken by Harvey. Outstanding that first term. Possession number 13. Chance for Kelly. Had a great recovery from missing the finals last year, and of course the latter half of the season with that leg problem. It's been pretty handy today as well. Wazinski goes the ground into the back that time of Stevens. Forces the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in. Wazinski. A lot of people suggest he should be moved midfield. He's got that accelerating pace and can carry the ball. They had such a great backline last year, the Cats, with Harley and Scarlett and Josh Hunt back there, and Wazinski and Sanderson, of course, who's not playing today. Missed out in the finals as well. But the backline last year was a great strength for the Cats.
Not too sure whether he'd have that real stamina to play in the midfield for 4 quarters, Kev. That would be the only thing.
Well, he's explosive, isn't he?
Most definitely.
He's explosive. They've got a good midfield, we know, with James Bartel and James Kelly. And, of course, Joel Corey as well.
Tough to find a spot in there,
It
isn't
might
it,
be
KB?
just tough to find a spot.
That's just silly from James Bartel, just stepping in and shepherding Daniel Motlop, who was going for the ruck. You just can't do that.
Well, Motlop, I think, is a fantastic young talent. He can take a really strong mark. He's really good at ground level. And, you know, I would say this year, if Motlop has a terrific season and Daniel Wells has a really good year, and they can get one of their tours like Nathan Thompson or maybe Corey McKernan have a good season, they could really trouble some of the sides and maybe even make the 8 this year. Chance now for Bartels, goes short. The kick is very poor. Kicked it off the back foot, looking for Chapman. Paddling the ball along in front is Corey Jones, takes it over again for a boundary throw-in. 2-4-16, the Kangaroos. They lead by 13 points at Monica. The Cats just 3 behinds.
34 goals last year to Daniel Motlop. He certainly looks capable of being a 50-goal player. Pushed it in the ruck. Shunted out of the way by Chambers, who got it to Wazinski. Wanted to take Wells on. That's not advisable in any conditions, let alone today. Jones slaps it forward. Ball trickles inside 50. Harding on hands and knees. Rawlings had a fresh air swing. Then goes back and gives away a free kick in his endeavours to make up for that mistake.
It's just very hard to kick a moving ball.
Especially when you're moving in the opposite direction and you've got no control over it.
The other thing I think with today's conditions too, which is going to be important, is that actually you put a bit of height and a bit of weight on your kick. So if you've got that flatter kick with the conditions, it's going to drop short. So I'd be advising the players to actually try and put a bit of height and weight on their kicks.
And just slipping over the shoulder there from Cameron Ling, giving away the free kick. Simpson to centre half forward. Petrie provides a contest. Chapman at ground level. Into open space. Michael Stevens has pulled up lame. Harvey. Still going, Brent Harvey. Again, we see the difficulty in kicking the moving ball. Rook. Handball to Tenace. The Cats looking to build off half-back. Just need to string some meaningful chains of possession together. Simpson's handball smothered. Ling goes off the deck. Again, the Roos will be first back there through Daniel Pratt. Time to assess the options. Goes for territory down the wing. Off the chest of Playfair. Harris. Taken down by Bartel. Will have a bounce. In fact, it's a free kick. Taken low.
David Haynes coming on for Geelong, replacing Brad Ottens, who's come off for a spell.
Tackle to slip from around the waist, below the knee, and gave away the free kick. Sinclair at centre half forward. Again, we see the difficulty in changing direction quickly. Inside 50. Johnson showed courage and will be rewarded with a free kick.
And Jace, you mentioned Michael Stevens pulling up a little bit lame before. He hasn't overcome that at this stage. Taking a long time to get some treatment out to him. He's limping badly.
It's Tenace at half-back. Another excitement machine at Geelong, a junior athletics champion, lightning quick in the 100 and 200 metres. A very talented footballer to boot. Playfair. Wells coming in the other direction. Cut from the same cloth as Kane Tenace. Both exciting young prospects. Shannon Grant to half forward. It's picked off by David Johnson.
Yes, he really made his mark last year, forcing his way into the side for the Cats. He's one of those players who actually did take a big step. Kicks the ball long, looking for Henry Playfair. Got thumped away that time at ground level, taken by Enright. Quick snap down towards centre half forward. This is where you need some runners. No U-turns required. You need plenty of crummers on a day like today where it's been wet and slippery as Watt comes away and just hammers the ball back towards the half-forward line. There was Chambers, showed a lot of courage. Motlop runs onto the ball. Mr. Magic goes short out in front. On the stretch that time was Thompson. Couldn't take it. Rook goes back. Tackled strongly by Harvey. Johnson just shovels the ball out. Taken away that time by Scarlett. Best full back in the business. Gives it across to Josh Hunt. Could be the best kick. Heads towards the boundary line. Chance for James Bartel. Overrun the ball. Got an ugly bounce. Sinclair didn't quite hit the target. Rawlings recovers well. They'll share the ball around. Simpson with that great vision. Looked out wide and saw Makepeace, who can run with the ball. He can carry the ball. He gets the go-ahead from Lee Harding. Stands on 60. Pops it out in front. Here's Thompson. Second grab. He's got it.
Even though that worked there, Jace, the thing that I'd like to see Nathan Thompson do is make a short, sharp lead and then maybe go back to the goal square and double back. So it makes it a bit easier for him, and the kick can come in long to the top of the square, puts the Geelong defenders under a fair bit of pressure. But I think one thing, Kev, that Bomber Thompson will be pretty happy about is that Henry Playfair's competing pretty hard across half forward. He's not taking any marks and getting many possessions, but at least he's competing pretty hard.
He was one of their big improvers last year, Henry Playfair. I suppose they want McCarthy to do the same thing this year. Here's Nathan Thompson. Can he kick a goal? Right across the face of goal. And it's been marked by Hunt.
Gee, that's poor. An uncontested chest mark on the goal line.
Drew Petrie must have been just thinking he was definitely going to make the distance. Expect the unexpected. Chance for Enright from half-back. Opens up a bit of space. Shannon Burns just dropped the sitter. Recovers well in front of Sinclair to the half-forward line. Riccardi using his body. As the ball is forced over the line again for a boundary throw. And let's check the scoreboard. 2-4-16. They lead by 13 points, the Kangaroos. The Cats just 3 behind.
And Michael Stevens still out on the ground, still favouring the leg, but he's still getting the job done apparently at this stage.
8 minutes gone, second term. No score in this quarter as yet. It's a tough slog at Manuka. Ablett received from Riccardi. Pratt got in there for the Kangaroos to force a contest. Grant was taken high by Burns and will receive the free kick. Shannon Grant, 6 touch for him coming up. Averaged 21 touches a game last season for the Roos. Finished second in their best and fairest. A good diving mark there from Drew Petrie. He'll be looking for a better year than he had last season. Didn't finish in the top 10 in their BNF. Ball goes out for another throw in.
Kent Kingsley coming off for Geelong, and certainly a player that's just struggled to get into the game today. Just a one hand pass for him, not a day for marking forwards.
Placed by Andrew Mackey.
Harvey, Rawlings and Simpson, 13 possessions for Harvey, 10 for Rawlings and 9 for Simpson. Just seem to be on top of Geelong's midfield at the moment.
The Cats haven't got any standout midfielders at the moment. Their 2 leading ball getters are Scarlett and Wojcinski, are both getting their possessions in the back half.
And as we can see there, the inside 50s at the moment, 21-10. Kangaroos way.
Hasn't that been a great feature of Matthew Scarlett's game over the last couple of years? Gary, how he's decided to become an attacking defender. I mean, he's a tremendous defender, but we often see some defenders don't get the ball, but he can get it 25 times.
It shows how his experience and the confidence that he's gained actually by playing some years now, and he certainly was a very dour defender. I know when I had him there, yeah, he was originally. Probably took after his old man a little bit in that regard, I suppose. But it's great to see him back himself. And I remember a guy like David Dench was capable of kicking goals as well when he used to run off full back. And I think it just makes the full forward work that harder. And as Jace would know, there's probably not too many full forwards who like to chase these days.
No, and he's a good athlete. I mean, he's got pace, he's got endurance, and happy to run off at every opportunity.
Here's Mackie, confronted by Watt, taken high, and will receive a free kick.
Although I can remember the day Jason kicked 17 against the Tigers and he chased the defender out in the last quarter and the ball went down to the forward line and Jason wasn't there.
He's probably too tired, he couldn't get back there.
He shouldn't have been
walking back at the time.
Yeah, you shouldn't have chased him out, Jason. You're going for the league record.
Daniel Wells, the defensive mark. 8th touch for him coming up. Here's Thompson. Wins the ball at ground level. Thumps it long. Harvey versus Rook, one-on-one. Rook has the position. Harvey puts body pressure on. Umpire said illegally. Got into his back. Jared Rook's done a pretty good job since he's gone on to Brent Harvey. Wojcinski plays a much more offensive run-off sort of role. Jared Rook, more of what you consider to be a hard tag.
Very defensive. I think one good thing that certainly Dean Lavey would like is Nathan Thompson's ability to push up the ground and get possessions at the moment. I think that's been pretty pleasing from Nathan's point of view.
Ground inside 50.
Particularly in conditions that don't suit him. I think he's tried very hard today.
Archer playing as a mobile full forward at the moment. Harvey takes it to the line and will have yet another throw in. So we've played 11.5 minutes in the second term. No scorers yet in this quarter. Roos leading it by 13 points. Harvey and Motlop their goal kickers.
Rook's restricted Harvey just to one particular possession this quarter.
Otten's in the ruck for the Cats. Petrie for the Roos. Wojcinski at the front of the Enright rather at the front of the contest to Wojcinski. He goes long to the wing. Ferrito on the ground for the Kangaroos in this second term. One-on-one with Mackie. Mackie went off the deck. Little gift from Playfair. He goes back and wins it himself. Awkward looking kick towards half forward and it's cut off by Daniel Pratt.
Well, you've got to play in front and it's a game of inches. So when the rain is tumbling down and it's slippery, you just keep forcing the ball forward. You get numbers around the ball. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. Here's Watt, had it and lost it. Taken away by Corey Jones. Goes wide. It was good vision in the end. Finds Sinclair across half back and just drills the ball in. Motlop took it on the half volley and then just accelerates away, runs into Chapman, backtracks, gives it back to Stevens, pops it high, looking for the half-forward line. He was looking for a running across in front was Daniel Harris. Couldn't get there.
The reason why Daniel had to do that, Kev, was because there was no movement across that sort of centre half-forward area there. So he's looked up and no one was presenting themselves. So he's had to double back. In the end, they probably gained some yardage by going out of bounds.
I wonder if under those conditions whether you just kick it as far as you can, let it slide along the ground, kick it to space, and maybe players then can run onto the ball.
Absolutely.
I think too many players, try and be playmakers on too many occasions. I think sometimes you can't always set it up. Here's a chance for Playfair in front. Thumped away that time by Lee Brown. Mackie trapped on the boundary line, squeezed up on the line. Finally forced over.
It's an effective stat if you just go long and gain some yardage for your particular team. You don't have to actually kick it to somebody all the time. And we said that in these conditions, gaining yards is a high priority.
Koularitis on the ground for Geelong, replacing Riccardi. Gone straight out and picked up Shannon Grant.
Spaces on your side on days like today.
Well, you can just see how many numbers around this particular stoppage here.
Koularitis, so that's a good move. Straight onto the ground, straight into the action. High ball, Makepeace, stands his ground. Mackie caught in the tackle by Watt. Makepeace again. Good strong play for Rito. Came off the rookie list last year, did very well. Corey Jones had it and lost it. Ablett dispossessed him and tackles hard. They've got a ball up 45 metres out from the Cats' goal.
Ferrito in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble there. He has not moved. Trainers coming out from all angles to come and attend to him. He's copped a heavy one in that passage of play. See if we can pick it up for you, but he's in a bad way at the moment.
It was in that last high kick. It's almost like the rugby kick today, Jason. It goes quite high and you've got that hang time.
So they're bringing out the stretcher and the game will be stopped.
It's very nasty at the moment for Michael Ferrito.
You don't know if it was body contact or if he hit the ground hard when he fell. But not in a good way.
It's dangerous conditions in close today, isn't it, gentlemen? Because you can have... What you've basically got is two guys who are around, 90, 95 kilos thundering in from opposite directions, and you just can't pull up and change direction like you can on a dry day.
Well, there's a lot of times you just don't know what's around you because you have your eyes firmly fixed on the ball, and if you're spending a lot of time in the air, sometimes a player can make up enormous distances and he's going really quick. That's probably like just hitting a brick wall.
A lot of players slipping off balance when they... there we go. He just gets tackled after that and he gets slung to the ground by
head on the ground.
Haynes.
Yeah.
Now, this might be a better angle to have a look at it and see if he hits anything other than the ground. Is there someone else coming in? Just goes out of shot, but perhaps just got whiplashed into the ground.
Straight into the ground, yeah.
It's one of the great things about clubs these days in terms of their medical team. All the clubs, don't they? And Jason, of course, has been an acting CEO and a board member of Hawthorn, that a lot of thought is given in who's going to be part of the medical team and the qualifications and the ability of those as far as sports injuries are concerned.
And the neck brace will come on here as a precautionary measure.
The very best treatment you could possibly get.
Well, they're all highly trained now, the trainers, and look, there are a lot of people within the organisation who probably have thankless tasks because they really get paid virtually nothing. Yet they turn up for every training session, they're there at every game, they support the players 110%. And it's just great to see the work that they do, especially behind the scenes.
The Roos have grouped up about 15 metres away from where Michael Ferrito is at the moment. As a senior player in this situation, Jason, what's the message to your team?
Oh, look, it's just time to have a breather, regroup, reinforce what you're trying to achieve out there, not lose focus just because a player's gone down with injury, whether it's one of yours or one of the opposition's. And I don't think look, even the tackle from David Haynes, I don't think it was malicious. Every coach likes to see players, when they tackle, make sure the opposition player goes to ground to take them out of the contest, and it's just unfortunate in these conditions that things worked out the way they did.
Also these days, the trainers, when they first get out there, they generally don't want to move the player until the doctor comes out or the head physio comes out. I suppose if we go back to the good old days, just about anyone used to try and pick up players, but we've learned over the years not the right thing to do. You've got to therefore signal that it's a little bit more than just a normal knock.
Putting the neck brace on at the moment, which is always a precautionary measure.
Wasn't there a kind-hearted act by Nick Rewalt yesterday on a young Hawthorn player who got smashed quite severely and
you're calling it kind, are you?
I
think he picked him up to try and cover up the contact that had just been made. Said, get up and have your kick, and he couldn't.
Yeah, lifted him up and said he's okay, there's nothing wrong with him, except he looks like a rag doll.
It was in the spirit of old Teddy Whitten, wasn't it? He'd knock your teeth out but then drive you to hospital after the game.
You might want to have a ride in Nick Rewalt's flash new car.
So Michael Ferrito conscious, we can see there.
And moving his limbs too.
Taking plenty of time, and rightly so. Doesn't want to get on the stretcher, wants to get up. You'd expect he's suffering some pretty serious concussion to tell him just to get back on the stretcher and we'll take you off. He wants to continue, but he's in no state to do so, that's for certain.
Let's hope it's nothing worse than a mild concussion.
I think it's always interesting for the side now that has to regroup the quickest, because there has been a change of the momentum, if you like. The game's now stopped for a couple of minutes, and which team really can get some sort of little score, if you like, or grab the ascendancy.
It's the last thing you want when you've actually got things going well, when it's working in your favour. So for the Kangaroos, they wouldn't have liked to have seen this happen on two fronts. One, because it's one of their players, and two, because they seem to be controlling the game, even though it's only a 13-point margin. It's probably the equivalent of 4 or 5 goals in the conditions. But Geelong, it's a good chance for them to slow the tempo and maybe get their act together.
It's going to be very important 6.5 minutes between now and half-time.
Ferrito certainly won't come back onto the ground, but once the stretcher's brought out, of course, it means you can't come back for at least 20 minutes. There was a rule once when if the stretcher was brought onto the ground, you had to actually hop on the stretcher, be taken from the ground. It was to stop players from pretending that they were hurt and the stretcher coming on to stop the game. And they were making fit players jump back onto the stretcher and sort of carry them off, which made them look very, very foolish. So they decided they wouldn't do that. That you can hop on the stretcher and then you can come off the stretcher and you can walk off the ground if you wish.
And KB, a lot fitter, some of the trainers these days. It used to be a bit of a worry. You'd be going off on a stretcher and you'd be looking at the trainers thinking, he's going to drop me. He's seriously going to drop me, this bloke.
And especially when the trainer needed attention from one of his mates.
So Michael Ferrito will go straight up the race to the rooms. Brad Seymour will have a hunt around downstairs and bring us the latest news from his condition as soon as possible. For Michael Ferrito's family watching at home in Melbourne, he's conscious.
And he's been moving his arms and his legs.
Yeah,
he's good signs.
Lifted his head up to have a look, so let's hope things are okay.
Let's hope it's nothing more serious than a bit of a headache. Brad will update us as soon as news comes to hand. So let's set the scene with 6.5 minutes remaining until half-time. It's the Roos by 13 points. We haven't scored at all in the second term as yet. It's a real scrap. A very important 6.5 minutes between now and the major break. Here's Kevin Bartlett on Fox Footy.
16 plays 3. It has been a real scrap. And the conditions are tough. After that break, it'll be interesting to see whether or not the Kangaroos can maintain this momentum that they had before Michael Ferrito went down.
Good kick.
Chance for Makepeace. who runs hard to centre wing, then penetrating kick to the half-forward line. You can see the ball just skidding along the ground. Best place to play in front like Motlop was. Chipped out the back to Nace with good hands and pace. Looks for Mackie. Closing quickly from behind was Watt. Kicked off the ground by Mackie. Clever play. It's a game of inches. Taken by Haynes, who started the game on the bench. Caught in two minds then. What was going through his mind? Nothing. High ball. Tenace waits down at ground level. Ablett is struggling like most Geelong players in the conditions today, and Rawlings comes away, tucks the ball under his arm, and there's a good strong mark taken by Rook, just running with the flight of the ball. Geelong defence has been under enormous pressure. Scarlett and Widzinski and Enright are their leading possession winners. Thumped away that time by Playfair. Cameron Ling, hands and knees, shovels the ball out. Tenace is tackled very tenaciously, that time by Perry. Across the half-forward line for the Kangaroos. Petrie over the top.
Oh, sure.
Should have given away the free kick. Taken away by Harvey. Pops it up in the air. There's a free kick held behind. Was Archer. Not paid. And James Bartel takes the mark inside the defensive 50. High ball. Chapman. Beaten for the mark that time. Coming across was Michael Stevens. Now he's been paid a free kick. Shepherding.
Really need to switch direction here. The ball's been going backwards and forwards in the one passage of play.
Thompson has it thumped away. Corey Jones roved it well. The kick's a poor one.
It's good to see Michael Stevens look like he's over his little injury scare there, Jason. The other thing is that I think that's his 4th inside 50 as well. So he's been pretty important through that midfield, getting the ball inside the Kangaroos forward 50.
Been very good, the Kangaroos, at shutting off Geelong's change of direction out of defence. They haven't let them square it up and go to the other side, keeping it in traffic.
Scarlett, big pack of players. Mooney at the front. Holding decision in that pack. It's going the way of Geelong. It's going to Tom Harley.
Oh.
No, it's coming the other way.
Petrie.
Umpire put his hand up the wrong way. All the players have to change direction and run the other way. Petrie, inside 50 to the pocket. Another free kick. Holding, shepherding this time.
Yeah, that was Glenn Archer. He really didn't look at the ball. He just had eyes for the Geelong defender and cut across in front of him.
I think he's saying you missed the one before.
He's getting increasingly frustrated, Glenn, the last couple of contests.
Tell you what we have seen today, though. Good discipline from the players. No 50 metres for back chat, which we've seen a lot of already in the first round.
I'm sure the coaches would have told them to keep their mouth shut, Jace.
It's a harsh penalty in a day like today, 50 metres. It's really worth 80 or 90 in these conditions. And Mooney, good strong mark. He's being vigorous as well.
Was that a good straight left?
Just stretching out. He's just saying to the umpire, no worries, mate. Just cramping up a little bit in that left bicep. Just sort of stretch it out. Goes towards half forward. Ling throws it on the boot. Spirals it inside 50. Lee Brown coming out, takes it on the chest. We'll head down to Brad Seymour for an update on Michael Ferrito's condition shortly. Troy Makepeace wants to switch play. As Jason Dunstall suggested, it hasn't come off on this occasion. Kelly, a good interception. And now Josh Hunt, a chance to go back. And he's one of the few players in these conditions that can kick a goal from right on 50. Here's a thumping left foot kick.
Cameron Ling coming off here and Brady Rawlings.
Tremendous play from James Kelly. They had the numbers, the Kangaroos. Lance Piccioni just couldn't work Kelly under the ball. He showed clean hands in the conditions and then quick vision to find Josh Hunt.
It was probably pretty poor by Lance, though, really, wasn't it, Chase? Not even the ability to make a contest, and the ball spills and then the Kangaroos are away.
He'll take his best here. Sheeran's probably feeling more like a house brick at the moment. Right on 50, gives it a ride. Here's a magnificent kick, Josh Hunt. As good as anyone in the competition. And the Cats have a major. 24 minutes gone in the second term. This game is alive at Manuka Oval. 9 points the difference. 2-4 to 1-3 as we head down to Brad Seymour.
Thank you, Jason. Just updating Michael Ferrito's condition. He has suffered from concussion, but to his concerned family back home, he is sitting up talking to the trainers as we speak.
Thanks, Brad. There's Dean Laidley on the blower. 2-4-16 the Kangaroos. Geelong 1-3-9. They trail by 7 points. We've played 24.5 minutes into the second term.
You can see, Kev, by that kick from Josh Hunt then, that's why he's the designated kicker for the Geelong back line.
He's a powerful man.
And you look at his stats, 8 kicks, no hand passes. If kicking's your strength, kick the ball.
Makepeace heads towards the boundary line. And Daniel Wells has given away the free kick to
what's wrong with pushing him on the side?
Well, he must have thought it was in the back.
Wasn't that one of the new rules that they were trying to police?
With body contact but not hand contact.
Damn.
Enright to Henry Playfair. Through the fingers, too much carry on the ball.
You've got to have a feel for the game, though, don't you, Jace?
I mean, I would have thought you're entitled to use your hands to hold position or, body on body, but I can understand if it's in the back, but if it's in the side, I wouldn't have thought there's too many problems. But they're trying to keep the game flowing and make things a better spectacle, I guess.
Spoken like a true full forward.
He
Chance
used
now
his
for
hands all the
Enright.
time.
Fresh air shot that time by Watt, taken away by Wells. Somehow found some daylight, put the ball over the boundary line. Brad Seymour is on the boundary.
Thank you, Kevin. Brad Otten's just receiving some work for the last 3 to 4 minutes on his back. I'll have an update on that at half-time.
Let's hope it's just one of those back problems that he gets rubbed every now and then. Nothing major. Big pack of players. And we've got a ball up. Just under 2 minutes left in this second term. Kangaroos really trying to build membership up here in Canberra. This is about the third year they've been up here. It has grown from, I think, 300 in the first year to 500 to 1,500. So they have been joining up in Canberra for the Kangaroos. Today has been very, very bleak and wet and raining and not so much chilly, but just uncomfortable. It's got to be out in the elements. But the Kangaroos really trying to make their mark in Canberra. Hale's got the free kick.
It's a good sport for the Cats here today too, KB, and a lot seem to have made their way up from down Geelong way.
Finds Harris, is on centre wing. Looking for Archer. Here's the target. Beaten that time by Scarlett. Couldn't quite follow the grab. And it was finally forced over by Lee Harding. And it's on the full. Yep.
Just came off the foot of Daniel Motlop.
So Johnson goes for the big talk. Doesn't quite get the spin. Hale from behind. Big fist away. Good hands that time by Brown. Well backed up by Harris and smothered off the boot. Desperate play by young Mackie.
Experience from Adam Simpson there. He didn't go through the kick when he realised the player was coming across his leg, because that's how you can get injured. Just pulled it back and let him go. Just over a minute remaining until half-time. The Roos by 7 points. Real tough scrap here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Yet another stoppage.
It's hard to see either team really breaking the game open, though, at this stage. It looks like it's going to be a very, very low-scoring affair, and may just be one or two little acts of class amongst the ruck that might sort them out at the end of the day.
6 touches for Gary Ablett. And a bit quiet in the second term. Harris goes looking for Grant. Good one-handed pick-up from Archer. It's going to be those little pieces of individual brilliance that might just help one side string a couple of goals together.
Oh, Motlop should have been over shepherding.
Instead, he received the handball from Michael Stevens. Uncertain of his options again. Decides to try and pinpoint a target. It was a low percentage option to Petrie.
Oh, he's got the free kick.
It's worked out okay for the Roos. Taken forward against Tom Harley. Drew Petrie with a chance to go back and kick the Kangaroos' first goal for this second term.
Yeah, they got away with it in the end. I'll tell you what, look, I can understand why Mark Fraser paid that decision. You can see the left arm of Tom Harley wrapped around his opponent, not giving him free access to the ball. Not that many backmen do like to give you access to the ball.
Not inside 50.
Important kick, this one, just before half-time, and as we can see, starts at right and misses.
Just in that lead-up play, you can see Daniel Motlop. It ended up okay. He got the ball and he delivered, but you'd rather see him go over and support Michael Stevens, keep the opponent off him, let him pick it up and then have time to dispose. Just lucky that Stevens was good enough under pressure.
Half-time at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Tough scrap. And in that second term, it was a goal to the Cats and one behind to the Kangaroos. And at half-time, it's the Kangas 2-5-17, leading Geelong 1-3-9. The goal kickers for the Kangaroos, Daniel Motlop and Brent Harvey, while Josh Hunt has Geelong's only goal. Half-time in Canberra, it's the Roos by 8 points. Manuka Oval in Canberra, and it is the Kangaroos 2-5-17 leading Geelong 1-3-9. Just one goal in that second term. It came to Geelong late in the quarter via the boot of Josh Hunt. Harvey and Motlop, the goal kickers for the Kangaroos. Brent Harvey had 12 possessions in the first quarter, just 2 in that second term. Jason Bennett alongside former Hawthorn Premiership player and Geelong coach and Adelaide coach Gary Ayres. Gary, tough slog, really tough slog, as we knew it would be when the weather started to turn nasty before the opening bounce. How have you seen it from a Kangaroos perspective, that first term and then into the second?
Yeah, I think Dean Laird would be pretty happy, Jace, because the way the Kangaroos structured their play, I thought they were very good running out of their defence and getting it into a forward line that had the likes of Brent Harvey, and even someone like Stav Rocker was competing pretty hard. And I thought really Brent Harvey was the catalyst in that first quarter. We can see there obviously how his teammates really made him pay for that particular little fumble there. But Daniel Motlop was another one who I thought showed a touch of class, and that may be something that's going to be pretty important in the later stages.
Now, Brent Harvey tore them up early. He had David Wojcinski, as we mentioned during the call. Wojcinski more of an offensive run-off sort of player. Geelong made the move and put Jared Rook onto him and did shut him down in that second term. Just the 2 possessions to Harvey in that second term. He's got 14, 11 to Rawlings, 10 each to Simpson and Michael Stevens, who was a little bit sore in that second term, 9 each to Makepeace and Wells, the leading stat getters. Grant, Harris, Motlop and Thompson, all with 8 possessions for the Kangaroos. And as we can see from the vision there behind the stats, very, very difficult conditions. The rain hasn't stopped. It's been just as hard from really started to come down about an hour before the opening bounce, an hour and a half before the opening bounce. Super Sopper came in, took a lot of surface water away, but there's still a heck of a lot more there. The message from Dean Laidley now, they stagnated in that second term. They didn't kick a goal. They're still in front, but this game's well and truly up for grabs.
Oh, well, it definitely is. And in these sorts of games, Jace, you really only need a touch of luck to score. And I think the thing that Dean would say is that we've got to get back to using the ball a little bit better. And I think even though the Kangaroos dropped off, I think it was much about Geelong actually improving. And I think Bomber gave them a bit of a spray at quarter time, as we saw. So I think the game's evenly poised, but I think the Kangaroos are playing the better football.
Half-time at Manuka Oval. It's the Roos by 8 points. We'll be back with Jason Dunster to look at the Cats right after this. It's wet and it's wintry here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. That's the place to be. Undercover, alongside the bar, enjoying the footy. It's been a tough scrap. Hasn't been pretty, but it has been a fierce contest. And at half-time, the Kangaroos 2-5-17, leading Geelong 1-3-9. Motlop and Harvey, the goal kickers for the Roos, while Josh Hunt is Geelong's goal kicker. Jason Bennett alongside Jason Dunstall. And take a look now at Geelong's first half. Bomber Thompson, we saw at quarter time, not happy at all, went down there, gave his players a bake. What do you think his message would be now at half time?
Oh, look, probably entitled to be a little bit upset, Bomber Thompson. I think they haven't got much drive out of the middle at all. You look at the conditions, perfect for the midfield, but the midfield for Geelong has actually let them down. They just haven't been able to win their share of ball in the middle, whereas their Kangaroos counterparts have actually dominated them in this area. They've had a couple of good winners. Scarlett's got lots of possessions down back. Enright's done a pretty good job on Daniel Wells. Not too much outside. Let's see David Haynes there. Just didn't know what to do. He's thinking, do I have the tight shot? Do I square it up? Sometimes you haven't got time to think in these sort of conditions. You've got to make the percentage decisions and make them straight away. A rare highlight there. Cameron Meaning, who actually came on and played some good football when he went into the ruck, struggled a little bit down back early. And James Kelly, he's the one that set up the goal for him. In fact, he kept them in the game. It's only 1 or 2 kicks that'll keep you in the game. It was a clever mark from Kelly and then spotting up Josh Hunt that got them back into it. I think the message from Bomber Thompson is that, hey guys, we played really poorly and we're only 8 points down. We've got a lot of improvement in us.
Let's take a look at the numbers. Leading stat getters for Geelong in the first half. Matthew Scarlett with 10 possessions, 4 rebound 50s, 9 each to Enright and Wojcinski, 8 to Bartel, 8 to Josh Hunt, including 6 rebound 50s and a goal. He's an important player in this Geelong lineup.
He has been, and we made mention of it during that quarter. 8 kicks, no hand passes. He's a very good disposer of the ball, and he's using his strength, which is very important. Ling's one that's been pretty quiet. You kind of think that these conditions he'd be in and under getting a lot of the ball. Has struggled a little bit. Gary Ablett we haven't seen a lot of. A couple of glimpses of brilliance, but they need to get him in the game more as well. The upside for Geelong, the downside is that they haven't played particularly well. The upside is that the margin's only 8 points at half-time, and this game is still well and truly up for grabs. Half-time at Manuka Oval in Canberra. The weather's not too flash at the moment. As you can see, looks like there could be snow on them hills round here. 8 points the difference. The Kangaroos lead. Let's head down to Brad Seymour for an update on Michael Ferrito.
Thank you, Jason. The latest on Michael is that he was flung to the ground in a tackle, hitting his head on another player's knee. The Kangaroos medical staff have decided that to take him to hospital for observations. That's all from down here at this stage.
So Michael Ferretto off for some precautionary tests as the Cats make their way back out onto Manuka Oval. The Roos yet to appear and just about to head down the race themselves. They lead by 8 points, but this game is certainly still up for grabs. There's lots more footy to look forward to on Fox today as well. We've got the second half of this game, and this one's up for grabs. And then tonight, we'll take you live and exclusive to Amy Stadium in Adelaide. 35 to 40,000 screaming fans for the showdown. 7:30 Eastern, live and exclusive right around the country on Fox Footy. Then next weekend, next Saturday night, from Marara Oval in Darwin, the second round clash between West Coast and Collingwood from 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll have every other game of the Wizard Cup for you as well, uninterrupted, siren to siren. So if you don't want to see ad breaks in the middle of your footy, the only place to watch is right here, right throughout season 2005 on Fox Footy. There's Brad Ottens, just played his first half of football for Geelong. Difficult conditions for him, as we've mentioned. The big man not suited by the cold and the wet and the rain, and a lot of surface water on the ground at the moment, particularly down to the left of screen in the goal square down that end. If you've got a ball that's bouncing towards the goals, it might just stop dead short. Here's Corey Enright. Important to keep the players warm on a day like today, Gary and Jason. They've been training really hard for months on end, but nothing's quite the same as playing in a match situation, is it?
Absolutely, and of course your body's conditioned accordingly, and the best thing you can do, and they're very professional again these days. We mentioned before about the support staff, but certainly the conditioning staff have got that down to a T. They use clocks now, they record how much the players do, so they're very much up to date with keeping a player ready to go.
And a number of players, in particular Kangaroos players with fresh jumpers on in this half. Archer is one, also Simpson and Grant, two others that have the bright new white jumper on, and they've been in and under, so you can guarantee it's a freshie, just getting rid of the waterlogged one that they wore in the first half.
And Brad Seymour, we saw Brad Ottens getting some treatment to his back throughout the first half as well.
Sorry. Yes, we did. Just a quick one on Brad Ottens. He was receiving treatment on his back from the physio for up to about 5 to 8 minutes. I spoke with him briefly in the change rooms. He will not be taking any further part in the game. I'm not sure whether that's because of the back injury or that was just his planned pre-season.
He just started off in the ruck, though.
That's right.
He just told you a furphy. Don't believe an injured player at half-time.
Matthew Scarlett to Wajinski. Brad Ottens has sold Brad Seymour, one of the great dummies of 2005, straight off the bat. James Kelly to Cameron Ling. Inside 50, Mooney in the forward line for the Cats. Ablett tries to keep it alive. Goes with the right boot, tries to bend it across the face, and it hits the behind post. It's still alive. Sinclair steps inside Riccardi, the greatest of ease.
Good kick.
And spots up a target.
Who played on, is called play on.
He's under pressure now is Daniel Pratt. The turnover might come. Kelly, quick kick inside 50. Through the legs. Ablett at the back to make them pay. Snaps and goals. It's such a tight, low-scoring game. It's going to be this afternoon. Those little mistakes along the way that are going to make the difference one way or the other.
Shannon just yorked himself.
Well, you've got to be a little bit careful that you don't actually overcommit yourself on a day like today, and unfortunately Shannon Watt did that. And look, as we know, Gary Ablett Jr. doesn't need two chances to do too much damage, so he certainly missed the first one, but then he made up for the second one. And all it was, again, was just a quick kick forward. And as clean bowled Shannon Watt, and of course Gary Ablett's done the damage. But another interesting stat for the Kangaroos was that they had 30 long kicks to Geelong's 10 at half-time. So again, there's that yardage.
Such a dangerous player, no doubt about that, Gary Ablett. He kicked 35 goals last year. I can see that being extended. He'll be a 50-goal kicker for the Cats. Chance for Petrie. Brought to ground, kicked off the ground that time by Hunt. It's been marked by Daniel Wells, who just very casual, stands and delivers and pushes it right.
Yep, too casual, KB, in fact. Had a lot more time than that, and there's just not a lot of authority with the kick.
Kangaroos lead by 3 points, 2-6 plays 2-3. Josh Hunt to bring the ball back into play. Kicked the first goal for the Cats late in that second term. Goes long and wide, looking for Ottens. It's made a remarkable recovery from a debilitating back injury.
Career-threatening, apparently.
Had Lewards water at half-time. It's I feel great. Stuck me off in the ruck. Here's Harvey. Quick snap. The danger man pops it through. Two goals to Brent Harvey.
Daniel Wells is coming off there, KB, too, so you wonder if it's that for that little miss.
I think it might have been. He might just say, listen, you can't be that casual. Just take off and make certain of it.
He's probably been the difference, you know, Brent Harvey, in this game so far. It hasn't reached any great heights because of the conditions, but he's certainly been by far the classic player out there on the ground.
When he's been on top, that's when the Kangaroos have made their move. It was in the first quarter, and then in the second term when he only had 2 possessions, the Roos came back to the field. They were goalless, and again it's Brent Harvey giving them the kickstart in this third term. Ling's kick smothered. Chapman, good vision over the top towards Riccardi. Difficult to turn. He can run onto it now. Slips the Simpson tackle. Swings onto his favoured left boot. Goes long. Mooney and Watt, the only men down there. And the ball dribbles out for a throw in.
Where does it play someone like Ken Kingsley, who's their regular full forward, Jason, then you go and put Cam Mooney down there?
Yeah, I guess Mooney's down there for the long option that comes up in the air. He makes a big contest, whereas Kingsley's predominantly a leading player. And it just doesn't suit leading players getting hit with skillful passes. Marking the ball in the hands out in front does it. So I guess they're going with the bustling type in Mooney, who might create something as opposed to the leading mobile type in Kingsley.
Hale to Harris, to Corey Jones on his non-preferred. Right boot. Motlop tries to get away from Enright, can't do so, so we'll use the supporting makepiece. Great effort from Enright.
That is brilliant.
Great effort, Corey Enright. Got to Motlop and then worked hard, gritted his teeth and got to Makepeace as well. Forced the turnover, and the ball's in the very capable hands of Josh Hunt. See what he can create from centre wing. Ottens is standing on the 50. Ablett's at his feet. You'd expect that's where it's going to go, and it does. Playfair in there bustling as well. Falls to the foot of the pack. Mackie there for the Cats. Ablett from on 50, from just outside for a super goal. Hits the post, it's still alive. Simpson the beneficiary. Sinclair off the deck, and the Kangaroos dodge a bullet. For a 9-pointer, Gary Ablett hits the post. We'll have a throw in. Inside the 50 still for the Cats. They're pressing in this third term. They've started well. Kangaroos need to pick up the tempo. Hale and Ottens. Chapman, clean hands, taken down by Harris. Michael Stevens. Brown slaps it out. Coming through was Bartel, tackled by Grant. Tenace in there being harassed by Harvey. Harris with his head over the ball, got it to Grant. Rook and Petrie. Petrie dives for the line, and we'll have a throw in centre wing out of side.
Kangaroos 3-6-24. They'll lead by 9 points. The Cats 2-3-15. Goal kickers for the Cats. Gary Ablett has kicked a goal, and so has Josh Hunt. And for the Kangaroos, 2 goals to Brent Harvey, 1 in the first quarter, 1 in the third, and also Daniel Motlop kicked the goal in the first quarter as well.
We see Brad Ottens in the ruck now, Kevin. It'll be interesting to see when Stephen King's fit how Bomber Thompson actually uses both those ruckmen, because Brad's probably a better forward than what Stephen King is, yet Stephen King's a better ruckman.
Makepeace off the Kangaroos. Eddie Sainsbury on, heading straight out to pick up Gary Ablett.
I reckon they'll play King in the ruck because he is such a good ruckman. But I have seen King go forward. He can kick a goal. He's a good mark, and he's quite mobile, and he's reasonably straight kicks. So maybe Ottens is going to be the key forward, but then he'll just relieve Stephen King, give him the extra height in the forward line when Ottens goes into the ruck. Here's a chance for Stevens. Just too much carry on the ball, too high. That time for Josh Hunt was on the stretch, couldn't take it. And we see Lee Harding run the ball over the boundary line.
The ingredients are there for a potent forward line. If you've got Brad Ottens at full forward, and then you've got Kingsley and Haynes and Playfair as your more mobile options, and then, of course, Ablett, Chapman, those sort of players at their feet.
Correct, and you can throw Cam Mooney in there at any stage too.
But the Kangaroos are making it tough for the Cats today. Chance for Lee Brown, who was caught up in that tackle with Mackie as well. Loose ball, pounced on by Hunt. Goes for the big torpedo down towards centre-half forward, running with the flow of the ball. Couldn't quite take it that time was Harding. Again picked up by Mooney. Speak of the devil, bangs it through.
Well, like he's the fortune. He got the best bounce you'll ever see, Cameron Mooney. It's beaten 3 of them and just popped straight into his hands. He's turned on the arc, but still a very skillful finish in the conditions. He kicked right through the ball, just drilled it from about 30 on the turn. A very good finish. You've got to make the most of the half opportunities. It sat up a treat, but he finished beautifully.
Just seems like he's a little bit more busier in their forward line than what Ken Kingsley was, Jason. Just looks like something's going to happen when he's around the ball with his aggression and just his enthusiasm.
Geelong have come to play in the third term. Copped a bake at half-time, you'd expect from Mark Thompson. They're responding accordingly. They're looking good at the moment. The Roos still lead. But for how long? Ugly scrap in the middle. Umpire no choice but to throw it up. Umpires Michael Avon, Kieran Nichols and Stefan Grun. Along with Mark Fraser, former Essendon Collingwood player who throws it up on that occasion. Socket out of Riccardi's hands to centre wing. Simpson will be first there for the Roos. They need a goal just to steady down. Harvey, the danger man, receives a Shepherd. Tumbles a kick to 50. It's all the Cats off the chest of Bartel. Hunt there to support. Bartel gets it on the boot. It's going to come straight back in. Michael Stevens tumbles it inside 50 onto the chest of Corey Jones. And the Roos with a chance to respond. Jones 30 metres out, almost directly in front. Yeah,
Josh Hunt got caught a mile away from his opponent then in Corey Jones. He was just sweeping, looked to break from half back, and when the quick kick came forward, there's a real breakdown in defence for Geelong because he was standing all on his own.
It's an interesting time for a coach at this stage, Joes, too, in that do you take Hale out of the ruck and put Thompson in there? Do you put Petrie back in there and put Hale forward? And it'll be interesting to see how long Dean Laidley goes with Hale in there, because Geelong have kicked the last, well, 2 out of the last 3 goals. If Corey Jones kicks this, obviously gets it back on an even keel.
And he does. Beautiful kick. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. And the Roos respond. The margin back out to 9 points. They're 4-6-30.
He was a much improved player last year, Corey Jones. He finished in their top 10 in their best and fairest. And I suppose he kicked that great goal in Glenn Archer's big game up at Sydney when they pinched it, when they looked like they were gone. And he was the boy that kicked the goal that won him the game up there. So I think he's a big improver, Corey Jones. Obviously, he's a very good kick for goal.
And Dean Laidley played him more in the midfield too last year, which I think helped his confidence as well.
I think along with Harris and Corey Jones trying to rebuild that midfield with Daniel Wells in there as well. Simpson's been there for a long time, of course, and Stevens is now retired, and King's also retired, so it's got to be rebuilt.
In their best and fairest last year, Brady Rawlings, another new face, is rising to the challenge.
Played mainly as a tagger, didn't he, in trying to run with players and limit some of the good players. Did it very, very well. Thought Harvey might have copped one in the back. Otten's on hands and knees, showing some desperation. Coming through hard with Shannon Grant, obviously auditioning for a role in the next Samurai movie. Rawlings tumbles the ball forward, taken away by Wazinski, rockets the ball wide, looking for Kane Tenase. It was half smothered off the hands. Here's the run, comes from Harley, hammers the ball back towards the half-forward line. Pack of players there. High flyer was Kelly. The man at the ground level was Ablett, who gives it across to Riccardi. And great desperate play. And look at Mooney. He's upset. He either thought he should have kicked it over his head, or he was being held by Shannon Watt. He's a wild man, isn't he? Mooney is a wild man.
Lots of enthusiasm.
I don't think it'd take too much to upset him. We've got a boundary throw in. It does open up the face of goal, and they come in 10 metres. Chance for Simpson. Toe poked it off the ground. Tenase, who is very quick, and big things are expected this year of Kane Tenase. His first season last year, he showed a lot of promise. I'll be hoping he takes a giant step in 2005. That young man on screen, I think you said before, Jason, that the young man from Shepparton, he was 100 and 200 metre champion as a young boy. He was taken number 7 in their draft. He won their best first-year player last year, so he's expected to be one of their midfield guns for many, many years. Chance for Hale, worked his way to the front in front of Ottens, taken away by Grant. Just with experience around the corner. And Wazinski takes the ball over the line. Happy to just slide it back over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I think a good initiative, Kev, with the way the umpires have been umpiring, and we can certainly see if you've got a pan the shot back, how many numbers are around these stoppages. The umpires have said, well, we'll be liberal, we'll give a bit of time, whereas if you went back 12 months, this amount of numbers, there'd be just ball up after ball up after ball up.
They're trying to do away with that. And I think the players also have got better. I thought probably in the latter part of last season, more players were trying to knock the ball out and, you know, keep the ball moving.
Absolutely.
Certainly the tightening of the holding the ball rules has helped that as well. Players no longer able to just take the tackle and go to ground without trying to get rid of it.
Well, if they've got their arms free, they're expected to try and at least attempt to handball it.
Tenace towards half forward. Here's Joel Perry. He's had the job on Henry Playfair for much of the day as Daniel Harris comes off for a spell, replaced by Glenn Archer. Riccardi off for the Cats and Shannon Burns back on.
We just saw how strong Matty Scarlett's got over the last 3 or 4 years there with his body use on Nathan Thompson and be able to hold him out and still take a catch.
Ottens and Hale. Big pack of players again around this one. Burns cops a heavy one. It spills out to Mackie inside 50. Mooney tried to swat it in the Ablett direction. Ablett still lurking, takes possession. Watt wraps him up and the ball goes out.
All of a sudden in the third quarter, I think we're starting to see Geelong winning their share of clearances around the contest, and I guess it's coincided with big Brad Ottens going into the ruck, just getting his hand on the ball a little bit, directing the ball into the right spots.
They look a lot more dangerous with Cam Mooney and Gary Ablett up there in their forward line too.
Motlop under pressure. Not a lot of time for players to get rid of the football this afternoon. It really has had a taste of a flavour of under-14s about it, where everyone is just, you got about 25 blokes following the football all over the ground.
You got to love Cam Mooney. He just walked through a bit of crowded territory there. He just bumps players, just steps on their toes, gives them a little whack.
Simpson. Intercepted by Mackie. Here's Ling. Went to the voice of Kingsley as Archer confronted him. Chance for Hunt. Slapped it sideways. Still alive for Koularitis. He's pushed off his kick. Tenace goes back to get it. He's tackled by Jones. Tenace goes again. Both sides putting in at the moment. Pratt a high ball. Ling will take it on the chest. Just backward to centre wing for the Cats. They trail by 9 points. Halfway through this third term. Big pack of players and Lee Brown goes up. Eyes for the football to take a strong mark. To be their number one option at centre-half back this season. Dangerous kick into the corridor, off the chest of Watt. He's got some time to recover. Throws it on the boot. Awkward one towards half-forward. Thompson against Harley. Dave Johnson sweating off the back of the contest. Petrie arrives as well. We'll have a throw-in 65 metres out from the Kangaroo goal.
At least with that kick then, Jace, that created something from Lee Brown. It was a change of direction, and you can say it could be high risk, but it's also high reward. It's opened up the play, and they're now 60 metres from their goal.
And Mooney in the ruck against Hale. Tried to take possession, fumbled. Chapman puts the head down, tries to barge through. Ling in over the top. Holding the ball.
Just dived on it cold and didn't really make an effort to knock the ball out, Glenn Archer.
So the free kick will go to Cameron Ling. Paul Chapman, as I mentioned, ducked the head and tried to crash through. Did cop one high. No free kick for ducking the head. Maybe a bit of a headache. Ling towards half forward. It goes to the back of the contest again. Jess Sinclair first back there for the Roos. Spots up a target on centre wing. It's Corey Jones.
He's got it across half-back, Corey Jones, as the Kangaroos lead 4-6-30 by 9 points. The Cats are 3-3-21. Kangaroos led by 9 points, in fact 13 points at quarter time, 8 points at half-time. Here's Simpson, the skipper, on centre wing. Rocker's going to be the target. He's got him in his sights. Scarlett, the consummate defender, takes the ball. Always cool under pressure, round the corner. Simpson at ground level. Again, too much carry on the ball. Motlop tried to trap it. Nearly tickled the ball up. Taken away by Mooney. Now strutting his stuff in defence. He's been caught. He won't like it.
Well done, Nostradamus. You got that one right.
He won't like it.
I think you might have had a teammate say you could have hand passed to me first up instead of dodging the player. And
he said, thanks for the advice.
Yes, he said. No shock there.
Well, Motlop is a very good kick, and you expect him to kick this. He'll be about 45 metres out directly in front. I know it's slippery.
He's talking to a teammate.
And he's darting his eyes, which is a bit of a worry, but usually is a very good kick. Motlop stands and delivers. Doesn't like it. Pushes it right and through for a minor score.
With that previous play there, Kev, when the ball went long to Nathan Thompson, I think one criticism of his play is that he doesn't bring the ball to the front very often. He lets it actually get over behind him. And if you've got players streaming in with the flight of the ball, they need the ball being brought to the front more often than not.
Brzezinski, and the ball taken by Koulouridis, and hammers the ball back towards the full forward line, and coming out is Ottens in front. Not really the conditions to suit Brad Ottens. He is a very spectacular mark.
The idea was right going forward there for Geelong. They kicked it long, one out to Ottens, but unfortunately the execution wasn't quite there. The kick was the wrong side of the pack for him. It wasn't to his advantage.
And I think sometimes even if they lead that side of the pack, you've just got to ignore them sometimes and kick it, you know, more towards the goal square, and sooner or later someone will run onto the ball. Even skid through. Here's a chance for Lee Brown. Looks really light on his feet, Lee Brown, for a big man. He's got a lot of pace. Can kick goals, as Gary Ayres said, kicked 6 goals against the Crows in the opening game, and that's why he's playing in defence.
You won't kick him like that.
If he hadn't kicked those 6 goals, Gary, you might have been still the coach.
Right. He might have got me sacked.
I wonder if these blokes know how many coaches they get sacked during their careers by kicking goals and missing goals.
I think they worry too much, Kev.
Sinclair, there he is, speak of the devil. Lee Brown strutting his stuff in defence, goes wide. Stevens just takes a bit of a peek looking for Brzezinski. He was very, very quick. He was closing quickly. Stevens from half back. That's a good kick, penetrating kick. Getting back that time was Petrie. Just couldn't quite get to the contest. Chance for Ling. Best and fairest winner last year. Just keeps on winning the ball. Sinclair, very handy across half back, has really found his niche. Watt took a fresh air shot, and the whistle has gone. It's a free kick.
Wells got
coming
one
back.
Yeah, Wells got one across the face.
I think Brent Harvey's just dropped out of the game in the last 4 or 5 minutes. He seems to spark them whenever he gets the ball.
Daniel Wells kicks wide. He was looking for Archer. Again, just forced under the ball. Taken by Lance Piccioni to the half-forward line. Here's a chance for Harding.
Harding one out with Dave Johnson. Tries to keep it alive, but it goes out before he gets boot to ball. We'll have a throw in right on 50 for the Roos. They lead by 10 points. Just over 5 minutes remaining until three-quarter time. There's David Johnston, the brother of Essendon's Mark Johnson. There's the Kangaroo coaching box. Dean Laidley. Hold a 10-point lead at the moment. Another throw in.
I just know, Jace, the ball's been down there a fair bit in the Kangaroos forward line, but Matty Scarlett, major possession winner for Geelong. Will probably be a bit discerning for Bomber Thompson.
Yeah, hasn't had the big winners in the midfield, although at least in this third quarter in particular, Ling's starting to get a bit more of the ball.
Archer. High ball inside 50. Petrie comes thundering out. Couldn't get hands to it. Hunt, ground level, wants to get onto that left boot, and does. Screws it back to the middle. Sinclair, awkward one. Ling was clever. Now it opens up for James Kelly. Can go inside 50. Out on the lead is Kingsley. Awkward half volley. Here's Ablett. Bouncing ball. Will not score. But it's just one of those little flashes of brilliance. It's going to be a mistake either way, or a piece of inspired football as we saw them with the tap on that just opens up and breaks a passage of play open.
It does, because you've got so many numbers around the ball and so much congestion. So if it's a quick clearance or a slip over or a tap on, as you said, it just breaks the play up enormously.
Big chance for the Cats here. The ball's in the corridor. Watt wants to get it out of there. Heads towards the line, but Mackie fumbles under pressure from Jones, gets it back to Burns. Now Mooney from 45, off the left boot. Awkward looking kick to the square, and the mark's taken by Joel Perry, who's been solid down back today. One-on-one with Henry Playfair. Kangaroos number 5 pick in the 2002 draft, taken at 31 overall as part of the Byron Pickett deal. Good one-hander from Nathan Thompson. Off to Eddie Sainsbury.
Jason, do you think you could ruck-rove Cameron Mooney because he does a fair bit around the ground?
Yeah, look, Brad Otten's off the ground now. I think that's where you'll find Mooney spending a lot of his time with Kingsley back on the ground up forward. He's always played his best football that way.
Rocker.
What about when Stephen King comes back?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt having the two of them in the centre square either, would it? It would be a good contest.
Great chase from Big Sav. Keeps it alive for the Roos. Makepeace to Piccioni. Can straighten up from 40 metres out. It's a 2-on-1. Motlop the only chance for the Roos. It's a ground level. He tried to soccer off the deck. Wants to keep it alive. Needs some support. Harvey arrives now. They're in over the top of it. It's still there. Rocker goes off the deck. Geelong under pressure. Don't want to concede are rushed behind deliberately because that's worth 3 points in this competition. Here's Perry. Hands off to Piccioni. The Roos to set up again. Back to Perry. Sells the dummy. Goes around Chambers. Kicks to the top of the goal square. The Roos want to mark. Off the hands of the pack. And through for a rush behind. Geelong defence working overtime. Kangaroos 4-8-32, Geelong 3-3-21, the margin 11 points as we close in on three-quarter time.
So many opportunities to open up a winning score, the Kangaroos, and they haven't done it. They will absolutely kick themselves if they get beaten here.
Koularitis takes the kick in, finds Scarlett. Goal kickers for the Cats, Cameron Mooney and Gary Ablett. 2 goals kicked by the Cats in this quarter, 1 apiece, and Josh Hunt, also a goal kicker in the second term. For the Kangaroos, 2 to Brent Harvey, 1 to Corey Jones and 1 to Daniel Motlop as Harley takes the ball over the line. Time clock ticking away, just under 2.5 minutes left in this third term. And it's the Kangaroos 32-21 by 11 points. Simpson's had it 18 times along with Brent Harvey. Brady Rawlings 15, 14 possessions to Michael Stevens, and Grant also 12. Scarlett with 14, 13 to Josh Hunt, 12 to Cameron Ling, working his way into the game along with Wazinski. Chance for Sainsbury, and again takes it over the line in front of Gary Ablett, who's had it 11 times and he's kicked 1 goal, 1. And there's some hardy supporters having a ball, enjoying themselves at the football at Manuka Oval. Speaking to Alan Aylett, the president of the Kangaroos at half-time, he was saying they started off with 300 members in Canberra, and over the last couple of years it's grown to 500, 1,500 at the end of last season, and they're expecting 2,000 members by the end of 2005.
Well, they've dominated all the stats today, the Kangaroos. The only place they haven't really solidified their lead is on the scoreboard. 12 scoring shots to 6, twice as many scoring shots, only an 11-point lead. Just isn't enough even in these conditions.
There's Makepeace and a good tackle on Kelly. Troy Makepeace from centre wing goes bang and finds Motlop. Only gained about 20 metres. Motlop just looking for the options. He was looking for Petrie. Rocker came out, found himself under the ball. Here's Corey Jones, who's good at ground level. He can be a playmaker. Rockets the ball out to Piccioni. The ex-Hawk stands and delivers, smothered off the boot, ricochets back, and Chambers, in fact, takes the mark. He's at centre-half back. Young man getting his chance with Stephen King on the sidelines. Mooney was the target and pushed out of the contest that time by Perry. Played the last couple of seasons with Port Melbourne. Chapman would be happy for this ball to just head straight to the boundary line. And we've got a toss back in.
Be a huge bonus for the Roos if Joel Perry could continue to develop, because they would certainly love to find themselves another key defender.
Well, it releases Lee Colbert to play somewhere else, and he's had a few injuries, as we know. So I think he showed some pretty good poise. He's obviously out-bustled Cam Mooney there, and before, when he turned inside and actually went long to the top of the square, showed some good poise.
Chambers got the tap, or sharked that time by Piccioni. Quick hands, finds Wells. 60 metres out from goal, looks for Rocker. Out in front with Scarlett, tried to get one hand on the ball, taken away by Wazinski. Caught by Corey Jones. Great tackle. Chance now for the Kangaroos. Shannon Grant comes in. He's pushing and shoving, falls off the ball. Corey Jones still at ground level, and finally it was slapped out, picked up by Wazinski. Comes away from that last line of defence and just bangs the ball. It's travelled a good 70, 75 metres out towards the centre wing, and Makepeace makes ground.
The Roos to set up again. They'll go down the line to Sinclair. He's 70 metres from goal. Puts it on the deck. Looks up, wants a target, decides he'll kick it long to the top of the square. Thompson in there, he's got a couple to beat. Chambers did it well. Dished it off to Kelly. Harvey against Rook. Archer comes crashing in. Does he know any other way? And with 20 seconds remaining until three-quarter time, the Roos hold an 11-point lead.
Just in that situation, I think you'd want Nathan Thompson to do a bit more than that, to be outmarked, bring it to the front again, create a real contest.
And the Roos get a clean clearance. They do through Piccioni. Great smother from Chapman. Just shut that last opportunity down. And the siren sounds for three-quarter time. Honours to the Kangaroos in that term. They added 2 goals, 3 to Geelong's 2 straight goals. And so the margin increases from 8 points at half-time to 11 points at three-quarter time. The Kangaroos 4-8-32. Geelong 3-3-21. Goal kickers for the Roos, 2 to Harvey. Motlop has a goal as well. Well, for the Cats, they're all single goal kickers. Three-quarter time in Canberra, 11 points to the Roos. Three-quarter time at Manuka Oval in Canberra, and it's the Roos with an 11-point lead. They've led at every change. 13 points at the first break, 8 points at half-time, and now 11 points at three-quarter time. They're 4-8-32. Geelong 3-3-21. Brent Harvey, the only multiple goal scorer in the game. He also has a game-high 18 possessions alongside his skipper, Adam Simpson. But this game's still well and truly up for grabs. An improved performance despite going backwards on the scoreboard from the Cats in that quarter. Jason Dunstall, Gary Ayres, they look like they've got it in them if they can just find a spark.
Yeah, they do, and maybe the spark will come from Brad Ottens in the middle. They looked good early in the third quarter, winning their share of ball in the midfield, but gee, that ordinary mistake from Shannon Watt. He's not going to like it when they review this game during the week, because that really gave them a bit of hope. The goal to Gary Ablett, which had been few and far between for Geelong. But Brent Harvey just showed class at different times of the match in the conditions. Very suited at ground level. Loves these types of conditions. He's, as Gary Ayres mentioned quite rightly earlier on, probably been the difference between the two teams thus far.
16 inside 50s to 10 in that third term, favouring the Kangaroos. They have dominated that stat down the bottom of the screen. They're 42-26. Contested possessions is something that would please Dean Laidley, particularly in these conditions, Gary. Very, very important statistic to win the ball in close.
It most certainly is, Jason. I mentioned right at the start of the game about just getting some sort of yardage out of your play, and it's not necessarily about falling on the ball, but it's about knocking it forward, about kicking it forward off the ground. It's about just getting it on your boot, and as long as you're actually putting it to your advantage, it's going to be a help. And they have really dominated the Kangaroos in general play, and it's been probably just a few ineffective shots on goal. It's probably cost them that extra 2-goal lead, and I think the game would basically be shut down and done and dusted. But they still have left the door open for Geelong, and I think if Geelong can get their midfield as far as their input a little bit more, because I think it's been beaten by the Kangaroos on the day, it would provide a lot of forward entries to the likes of Ablett and Mooney and Kingsley, and that'd be a real chance if that was to occur.
Simpson, Harvey, Rawlings, Stevens all had a lot of the football between them. They've had, 36, 51, 65 possessions between the four of them. Have the Geelong midfielders been guilty of maybe just being a little bit defensive at times?
Well, it seems to me that way, and you certainly, when you take into account Simpson and those guys, you've got to pay them respect, and they're young players still learning their trade, so that could be in these conditions. They maybe are a little bit negative.
So let's have a look and see how they set up for this final term. Brad Ottens is starting in the ruck, who'll go against David Hale. Simpson's in there, Grant in there, and Wells in there for the Roos as they're starting four, while Ling, Enright and Bartel at the feet of Brad Ottens for the Cats as we get ready for the final term. It's round one Wizard Cup clash at Manuka Oval. The Roos lead it by 11 points. You're watching it live and exclusive right around Australia on Fox Footy. Ottens and Hale. Simpson, ineffective kick. Wells goes off the deck. Riccardi tracks it back. Paccioni will arrive from left of screen and force a contest. Riccardi goes back on, gets the football. Only as far as Simpson. He'll flip it around. Sinclair to Grant. Awkward looking kick towards half forward. The big man goes up. David Hale and takes the mark in front of Brad Ottens. Dishes it off to Grant. Spearing kick towards Thompson at half forward. Difficult to take on days like today. Burns, clean hands. To centre half forward over the head of Mooney. Brown there for the Kangaroos in best position. Run down by Mackie. Now to Pratt. Mackie went again. Was a good second effort from the youngster. Paccioni off the deck. It's not pretty, but it is intense. Both sides working overtime here. Umpire lets it go only so long. We'll have a bounce.
You'd think if the Kangaroos could get the first goal, that'd certainly snuff out the chances of Geelong, but conversely, if Geelong managed to sneak the first goal, I think they'll just start to feel the pressure a little bit, the Kangaroos.
Difficult to string together chain of meaningful possessions today. Wells to Brown. Quickly onto the boot, again towards half forward, but Harley stands in the way for the Cats.
Tom Harley, who last year, along with Matthew Scarlett, they were formidable duo for the Cats. They had a fantastic defence. Here's Haynes towards centre-half forward. Too much carry on the ball. Sinclair left it. Perry came through very strongly to Sainsbury. Started all right last year, just struggled to really hold a permanent spot in the Kangaroos side. Chance for Motlop. Got a touch of the fumbles and he's forced over the line for a boundary throw-in. Daniel Motlop on screen. Such a dangerous young player. He's had 11 times today. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. And Geelong bench there looking on. The Cats would have been clear favourites coming to this game, coming off their fantastic season last year. I think the Kangaroos might have surprised a lot of people today. Here's a chance for Ling. He's been very good since half-time. Across to Burns, edge of the centre square. The kick's a poor one. Mackie goes to ground. Ablett, the danger man. Toe pokes it along. Here's Brown, who's been great in defence as well. Taken by Haynes. Slips the tackle by Sainsbury, but not the second one from Shannon Grant. Taken away by Brown. Head straight to the boundary line backwards. I reckon he's lost 5 metres. Put it over the line.
I think one thing that Haynes needs to do is just improve his decision making, and I think he'll be a much better player. And I think it's improving as we now know that he's at Geelong, but I think it's an area of his game that he really needs to work on.
We found that earlier when he was trapped up in the goal square, or not far out from goals, when he probably should have kicked it and sort of tried to bring the ball back into play. Here's a chance for Piccioni. Can't trap it. Very close to the fence for Lance Piccioni. Having his third crack, starting with Adelaide and Hawthorn, and now with the Kangaroos. 4-8-32 the Kangaroos. The Cats 3-3-21. They trail by 11 points after trailing by 13 points at quarter time, 8 points at half time, and 11 points going to this final
setup here at the throw-in. About 6 of them in a line. Just jockeying for position.
Ottens. I thought he got pushed out of the contest, taken by James Bartel. Good trap by Chapman, who attacked the ball. Kicked the ball towards the boundary line. Wells there. And he will take a free kick.
Corey Enright just giving away a cheap one there.
Daniel Wells to the half-forward line, hugging the boundary line. Nathan Thompson, I thought, might have been held off the ball by Egan. But we've got a boundary throw-in.
Did Rick Kennedy do that to you one day out at Waverley, Jason, from memory?
He tried to. Yeah, he did. He just used my back as a surfboard. Said he was just getting his balance.
It's kind of you to help him out.
Lovely fellow, Rick. And they line up again, the midfielders.
It's a conga line at the moment. Tags and counter tags. Shannon Grant dispossessed by Burns. Piccioni, a quick kick out of the congestion to the square. Rocker tries to sock her off the deck. Scarlett doesn't want to concede 3 points. So instead he goes to the line. Good presence of mind, because it's an instinctive thing, isn't it, for a defender, but obviously had the awareness top of mind that it's 3 points in this game.
And they don't have 3 points to spare, Geelong, at this particular point in time.
Throw in. Chance for the Roos here. 30 metres out from their goal. Enright tries to fend off Wells. Can't quite get enough purchase on the ball. Piccioni slid in hard and hurt himself.
But look, that's incidental contact of 2 players going hard for the ball. They're both trying to do the same thing. It's incidental contact. I just don't know how you can... Both got eyes on the ball, trying to reach it.
Well, he got hit in the head, and they'll always pay a free kick if, in fact, you get hit in the head.
But if you've got your eyes on the ball, KB, endeavouring to pick it up, and you clash with someone, how can you control that?
Well, they'll just say, well, it was careless.
Sorry of me for trying to get the ball in. My apologies.
No, but you can't hit him in the head.
Grant loads it up, goes long and misses. I think the point he's trying to make, though, KB, isn't Bartel entitled to fight for that same space that Piccioni's allowed
absolutely
to?
correct. As long as he doesn't hit him in the head.
Well, then Piccioni should keep his head out of the way.
It's on his shoulders. He's allowed to keep it there.
It's a collision game.
As long as you don't hit him in the head.
I'm seeing a recurring theme around the table at the Rules Committee. Riccardi sockers to the line and we'll have a throw in. So you're saying something about as long as he doesn't hit him in the head. That's your point. Peter Riccardi, the veteran, 260 games for the Cats, 4th on their all-time list. Started way back in 1992. Sun out here at Monica. Very, very wet and slippery conditions. As Grant paddles to the line. And once again, we see the Kangaroos successfully holding it in their forward zone for extended periods of time, but haven't been able to convert that into goals this afternoon.
It's still a win, though, Jace, because they have actually got the ball in their possession, in their forward 50, as you said. But certainly Shannon Grant, I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 minutes, has got quite busy around the stoppages, and he looks very dangerous at the moment.
I reckon the players would appreciate that little bit of sunshine at the moment, wouldn't they?
Big chance here for the Kangaroos. Rocker doing the ruck work.
Yep.
He's given away, and look at that look of anguish on his face as Ottens will take the free kick. Kangaroos by 12 points. 2 straight kicks in the old, although there's a 9-pointer, a super goal on the table if it can be taken. But under these conditions, it's going to be very tough, and Perry gives away the free kick.
And Cameron Mooney made sure the umpire saw that.
Mooney at half back goes for the big torpedo, just half connects. There's a big flyer. That time was Nathan Thompson. Hands and knees was Egan. Taken away by Brown, who's been very, very good in defence as well. To Rawlings. Feels confident enough to run with the ball. Charges now to centre wing. Rockets the ball wide. Taken away that time by Hale, the big man, trying to make an impression on Dean Laidley. And Scarlett just stands his ground. The All-Australian, he is a magnificent fullback. Johnson. And the run of Scarlett. In fact, that's something I think Shannon Watt could actually look at. You know, Gary, I saw in the third quarter Shannon Watt took off, and that was that transfer of play that you said may have been a little bit dangerous. But Shannon Watt maybe is a little bit like Matthew Scarlett, with you know, maybe a bit doer as a fullback, but maybe can watch Matthew Scarlett and turn himself into maybe an attacking fullback when the opportunity gives him, you know, the ability to run, because you've got to get the ball a bit too, don't you? It lifts the confidence.
Well, it does, and of course it brings you into the play as well. And the thing that Shannon has done is he's probably, when Dennis Baker was there, he's in and out all the time, and he never really got much of a go, and Dean Laidley's played him there and given him the confidence. But certainly if you are an attacking type defender, it makes your opponent work a lot harder too, Kev, whereas he gets to know that you're just going to hang around him, and he can basically please himself what he does.
That's why I was, free kick off the ball. That's why I was pleased to see him do that run down the field in that third term, because that's something he can add to his game.
Most definitely.
So Wells has got it for the Kangaroos. They lead by 12 points. He goes wide. Here comes Rocker. Just couldn't quite get to the fall of the ball. Good enough to trap it onto the left side. Just floats it back, taken by Egan.
Confidence booster for young Matthew Egan.
Now they got a chance.
Taken at pick 62 in last year's draft for the Cats. Was in the VFL side last year, and they're away. Bartel to Burns. Towards half forward. Haynes. Awkward one for him. Playfair came across, but Brown went off the ground. Ling meets Stevens. The ball ends up in the hands of David Haynes. Inside 50, here's a chance for the Cats. Playfair has it. 35 metres out directly in front. It's an open goal square if he goes back and kicks now. He's going to take his time and set himself.
Bit of a fight on over the far side. Cameron Ling, David Haynes from Geelong. I think it might be...
up against the fence.
Brown in amongst there. And a 50-metre penalty here.
As a result, I would suggest of that little skirmish, which is just breaking up now.
Brady Rawlings in there.
Again, the directive from the umpires this year in any of these situations, any pushing and shoving at all above the shoulder, so even if it's an open hand in someone's throat or face, immediate free kick or 50-metre penalty. And Playfair makes no mistake. It's a costly penalty on a day like today, 50 metres.
I'll tell you what, Chapman needs to be careful because he just keeps tapping the face of Brady Rawlings.
That is a free kick technically now.
Technically it is.
So Playfair gets the goal, and Geelong are still alive.
So that was a good decision from David Haynes then.
Yep.
He just did what came naturally.
Yep.
Centred the ball to the corridor, and Playfair took the mark and was aided by a 50-metre penalty. But that's the thing that you know he can do, and he's just got to keep working on those things that he does in a much more positive sense, and just keeps his vision, if you like, or his decision-making in a fairly narrow line.
Cats are within 6 points, 4-9-33, plays 4-3-27. Brad Otten's in the ruck for the Cats. Just eyeing off Petrie. Cats just work the ball forward. All of a sudden, Collins is high. Mackie had it and lost it. Pounced on that time by Wells, the magic of Wells. The man with the dancing feet, centre wing at Manuka. Hammers the ball back towards the half-forward line. Getting back with the flight of the ball that time was Harley. Chance now for Corey Jones. Run, bang! Pops it high. We'll get a free kick too high.
Josh Hunt should have got one prior to that for being tackled without the ball.
So Corey Jones runs to the mark. Magnificent kick! Crossed the face of goal. Tom Harley was looking at the umpire. Corey Jones ran back over his mark and then took off and nearly pulled it off. Scarlett goes short, finds Ottens.
Really got into the game once moving into the ruck, Brad Ottens.
Takes them on. Showing a bit of flair. Goes wide. Henry Playfair. Cross half back. Just caught in two minds. Harvey, who was the dominating player early in the game, he's had a very good game, finds his skipper in Simpson. So two old heads combined, heads towards the boundary line. He's looking for Motlop. Forced over the boundary line by Johnson.
Have gone very wide, haven't they?
Yeah,
at defence today.
Just watching Henry Playfair out there, and we saw David Haynes a little bit earlier on. Just a bigger type player. Sometimes they make a decision, and then by the time they transfer that decision to the body actions and get the ball to the boot, it just takes a little bit too long.
The moment's gone. One of the criticisms with Brad Ottens was that for his ability to play on the ruck, he didn't have a super engine. Yep. So it'd be interesting to see if he has got himself fitter over the Christmas summer period.
10.5 minutes left in this final term. Sinclair shovels the ball out to Watt. Did well around the corner. Finds Stevens. He's been a pretty handy player today. Started with Port Adelaide. Played 20 games last year. There's James Bartel, who's very strong overhead. Who can never forget that mark he took last year. Very similar to Nick Rewaltz, one of the marks of the year, along with Ashley Sampi, who beat both of them. Here's a chance. Mackey. Clever play to Ablett. Danger now for the Kangaroos. Ablett, with those quick hands, gives it across to Mackey. Bouncing. Through from behind.
He didn't realise how much time and space he had, Andrew Mackey.
Just a little bit of inexperience there.
Yep.
7 points the margin. 9.5 minutes remaining. 6 points the margin now. My apologies.
Just with that point you said before, Jason, about him going wide, the better players attract the ball, so regardless of where they lead, players up the field will kick it to them.
Simpson tries to stand up in the Burns tackle. Given plenty of time to get rid of it. Rawlings to Corey Jones. This game just gone up a couple of notches in tempo. Jimmy Bartel. High ball to the wing. They'll come from all sides. Good collision. Courageous from Jones and Kelly. Bartel now to Enright. Under pressure. Paddles it out. Kelly gets it on the boot. Petrie in front. Ottens punches from the back. Harvey tries to tidy up. Petrie bangs it on his boot as well. Gains some territory. Thompson takes it to the line with Harley. We'll head boundary side. Here's Brad Seymour.
Thank you, Jason. Kane Tenasis just had his right shoulder taped up, making him available to come back on.
Gee, that was a good passage of play there, wasn't it? Tough in close, good in the clinches.
Rocker off for the Kangaroos. Harris on.
8.5 minutes remaining. As I mentioned, it's gone up a notch now. Cameron Mooney can't do that. You take possession out of the ruck, you are gone instantly. Once tackled, Harris inside 50. Scarlett almost a one-hander. They are throwing themselves in at the moment. Jones, Harris on 50. Dragged down as he kicked it. Straight up in the air. Thompson keeps it in front of him. He's got Motlop and Pachoni in support. Motlop wants to go himself. Egan takes him to the line. We'll have a throw in.
Much more dangerous play when you keep it to the front.
Just over 8 minutes remaining. The intensity written all over Dean Laidley's face.
All of a sudden, a bit of excitement's come into the game now that there's only a kick in it.
It was terrific play by Corey Jones just down here on centre wing. Just attacked it so hard.
Ottens coming off.
Mooney at the front.
Cardion. Grant
goes to ground. Motlop soccers it out of the air. Pachoni play on. Ling was taken high.
Yep. Good decision.
We get a free kick. Again, the Cats will switch to Scarlett. Egan sets himself a task. Thompson will get there first. Here's a chance for the Roos. Jones has got a man in support. Back to Thompson. Wants to get around Egan. Back to Jones. They've worked it to 45. Jones goes for home. Misses.
Nathan Thompson's done some pretty good work further up the field, Jason, today.
This looks good. That's a pretty valuable point at this stage of the match too.
7 points in it. Super goals.
Not
worth
many
9 points. Very tough. You may as well kick it 90 metres to get it from outside 50. Worth $3,000 from Wizard to the World Vision Tsunami Appeal if anyone can bag one. It might win you the game as well from here on in. Mackey throws it out.
Oh, well done.
Mooney just keeps it going forward. Ablett with slick hands. Mackey to 40. Can go for it. It's online. Hits the post. It's still alive.
What a power.
And now it's through from behind.
Peter Riccardi, a 20-metre kick. He's all on his own in the corridor, and Mackie just didn't have the vision.
This is the time where you don't want that rule in that it can actually be played out once it hits the point post.
Kangaroos by 6 points. Eddie Sainsbury picks one out. It's Brown, who loves to run with the ball. He feeds it off. Chance now for Sinclair. His partner in crime hammers the ball back to centre forward. Here's Harding with some body work. He got rid of his opponent in Josh Hunt, who wasn't happy. He thought he might have got a shove out. But Lee Harding, who's not the straightest of kicks, probably the weakness in his game is he can be very, very dangerous, but he can waste some opportunities.
Generally better from a set shot than on the run, though. But it's about a 60-metre kick on a day like today from this position. It's a very, very long ask.
I think if he can get his kicking in some sort of, straighten himself up, then he can be a very dangerous player. He's had lots of opportunities, but sometimes just doesn't get results for his good work. So they need a good straight kick right to the line. He's done it. That's great for that young man. Lee Harding has banged it through. Seen him so many times win the ball, kick, 2 goals 5 and 1 goal 4. And when you're a forward like he is, an opportunistic forward, you've got to grab those opportunities and kick the goals when they present themselves. And that's something, if he works on, he can be a very dangerous player.
It was good play all round in that the Kangaroos moved the ball straight down the corridor with a couple of long kicks. There was a good run off half-back from Sinclair, and Harding's used his body beautifully against a guy who physically is bigger than him, and then he's gone back and nailed the goal.
Interesting matchup up forward with Adam Simpson playing deep forward, and Matthew Scarlett's the man that's gone on to him.
So the Roos with a break out to 12 points. Can the Cats respond? 6.5 minutes remaining, plenty of time. Kelly's kick smothered. Ling pumps it forward again for Geelong. Playfair couldn't quite bring it down. Ablett lurking at ground level. Slips through the Sainsbury tackle. Dishes off to Chapman. High ball. Haynes in the best position for the Cats. Can't get hands to ball. And it's a throw in 15 metres around from their behind post.
Well, they might be concerned, Jason, with the 18 possessions that Scarlett's got, and playing on the bigger players, he's very quick to sort of run off and create that loose player. So maybe Simpson, who's sort of dragged him out here to the half-forward flank towards the boundary line, might be just to take him out of the play.
After that last contest, they've isolated Harding and Hunt by themselves inside the forward 50. Dean Laidley likes that one-on-one matchup. Harris flips it back to Archer. Avoids the lunging Wojcinski. To Sainsbury. They'll switch play to the far side of the ground. Brown got a couple to beat out there. Playfair just got a little bit of extra toe, gets there first, but Brown did well, dragged him down. Conversely, Playfair managed to get it to his boot, not give away the free kick. Haynes paddles it forward. Wells slips away from Enright.
How was that for exciting?
Pushes it out wide, and now it's opened up for the Kangaroos. Michael Stevens can go for a run. No one coming at him, and no one going to run him down from behind either. Create the loose man. He runs to 50, can now chip it over the top. Motlop, 40 out. Scarlett versus Simpson. Off hands, minus score. So the Roos have steadied. Geelong came at them early in this final term. They've shown good poise. The Cats now deciding to go straight up the middle. Time running out. Enright. Mackie. Pass Wojcinski. Archer comes crashing through, wins the football. The Roos travelling like winners at the moment. And Simpson has it just outside 50. Scarlett will stand just outside the 50, which means this will be for 9 points.
You think he'd struggle with the distance from there? Unless he perhaps attempts to torpedo. Certainly happy to run the clock down.
Might get one of those floaters that we know Adam's famous for, mate.
Might float all the way.
Looking at where the mark was taken, Scarlett should actually be inside the 50, and it should be for 6 points, but it's all academic now. This really for 9. Simpson launches it long. It's going to go right to the line. Good effort from Mooney. Motlop goes off the ground. Ling hacks it out of there in a hurry. Rook paid the mark.
Jared Rook now is in trouble.
It's got to be 50. He's coming from behind.
Had he left it, well, I suppose he hadn't gone off his mark, had he?
The umpire hadn't called play on.
So Motlop just asking for an explanation. Rook probably hadn't deviated off his mark, still in a straight line. So with 50 metres brings him up to nearly on the centre wing on the edge of the centre square. Harley there thought he was in position to take the mark, sort of lost his balance, and we've got a ball up 65 metres out from the Cats' goal. Just over 4 minutes left in this final term at Manuka. 5-12-42 the Kangaroos, the Cats 4-5-29. They trail by 13 points, which is the exact margin at quarter time. Difference between the two sides. Here's a chance. He was trying to be pretty clever then, Scull. I think he was trying to backhand the ball onto his boot.
Ricochet off Simpson's boot.
Hail on for Petrie for the Kangaroos, and Koularitis came on to replace Wojcinski for the Cats.
Boundary umpire just remembered with a bit of a smile on his face. I've got to run in 10 metres here. Throw the ball back. Mooney takes the front position. Hale over the top. Chance for Daniel Wells. And Harris. Very impressive young player with those quick hands to Simpson. Just feigned the handball, comes well on the right boot to the half-forward line. Is Thompson pushing and shoving. Did well in a test of strength. Kangaroos with Harding. Josh Hunt out in front, slaps the ball out towards Harley. Dives on top of the ball, courageous play. Corey Jones came through hard for the Kangaroos. Now he's got it. Now it's a ball up. And Hunt is unhappy and caught Lee Harding high. So it's a ball up. And Thompson with a quick snap. This can bounce through. He's kicked a goal. 19-point lead to the Kangaroos. It's tough now for the Cats.
You would certainly expect them to get home pretty comfortably now. I think that's taken any wins that Geelong had left out of their sails. Once they got that 2-goal margin, I think it was pretty safe, but 3 now. I think that'll see them out pretty comfortably, and a good reward for Nathan Thompson. He's battled hard. He's played forward. He's had a couple of stints on the ball. He's looked dangerous, worked hard for a big bloke in tough conditions, and Dean Lane will be very happy with the output from him today.
Since Mackey's shot on goal hit the goalpost, Jason, this sort of seemed to have taken the momentum away a bit.
Roos have steadied well. Grant going nowhere. Taken down by Jimmy Bartel. Another secondary bounce or a throw up in this situation in the Wizard Cup.
No, they've still had as many scoring shots, so you'd expect him to be comfortably in front, wouldn't you?
Stevens tried to paddle it back to Harvey. Go back himself. Koularitis went off the deck. Sainsbury versus Ablett. Boundary line wins.
I think one player that's been pretty good for the Kangaroos offensively, and he's played on the wing all day, has been Michael Stevens.
He's been good, yes.
He's had 8 inside forward 50. So he's been able to get the ball inside their forward 50 and be quite dangerous on it.
Certainly found some space today, hasn't he? Particularly around that outer wing. Some time to be creative off half-back and through the middle of the ground. Koularitis towards half-forward, past Playfair and Watt. Watt the first to recover. Good effort. Now to Brown. They've got the overlap runner in Sinclair if he wants to use him. We'll go further afield to a 2-on-1. Motlop against Johnson. And Haynes soon to arrive, but Motlop did well. Ran out of bounds in the end.
Ablett off, Burns on.
So we'll have a throw in on the outer wing. 2.5 minutes remaining.
Glenn Archer's been good in this last quarter too, Jason, I feel.
He's tried to work Mackie over physically too.
Typical Glenn Archer.
Cheery chap.
Saying, hey kid, this is what it's like.
Hale and Chambers.
I was going to say Hale and Pace there.
Free kick going to the Roos. And Sting really out of this game after that Nathan Thompson goal. Shannon Grant. Still got the intensity in his eyes.
Should be play on.
He's had 17 possessions. Spears it towards Thompson on the long lead. Got hands to it, never chance to mark. Motlop's been impressive. Lopes to 45 from a tight angle. Great finish. Icing on the cake for Daniel Motlop and the Kangaroos. He's been impressive. He's booted 2 goals. Had 15 possessions. And has done some very good things.
He had a shot on goal just a couple of minutes before that and didn't really know whether he should go to the top of the square or have a shot. And once he makes up his mind, he's a very productive player, and I think he's been a terrific player for the Kangaroos today. Very dangerous one out in that forward 50. But the other thing that Dean Laidley would enjoy him doing is actually working up to the wing and getting ball, so he just doesn't become a forward 50 type player.
Well, he kicked 34 goals last year, and I think we can claim him as a freakish player, Daniel Motlop. Just played the 44 games, so you would expect that along with that man on screen, Daniel Wells, they're going to have a big say in the future of the Kangaroos.
All of a sudden, I mean, it's taken until the last 5 minutes to match, but finally the scores reflect the dominance of the Kangaroos.
Glenn Archer traps it across half back and finds his partner in crime in Shannon Grant. Two wise heads. Grant's had a very good game. 19 possessions. And Johnson just slides the ball over the line for a boundary throw. And so the time clock ticks away, just over a minute left in the game at Manuka. This is going to be a very big win to the Kangaroos.
Kev, it's interesting, the two of the glamour sides from last year in both St Kilda and Geelong. Well, St Kilda just did enough to win yesterday, and Geelong are going to go down to the Kangaroos today.
Well, there's extra pressure. There's a lot of expectations both for the Cats and also St Kilda this year. I suppose sides like, you know, the Bulldogs and, you know, like Kangaroos and some of those sides that have been down, they see themselves with a bit of a chance with some new players and in some respects with the Bulldogs with a new coaching panel as well. So it's hard when you're in a position where people expect you to win and be big improvers. It can put a lot of pressure on you. And certainly the Kangaroos, 10th last year, 10th over the last 2 years, I think it's fair to say they're a very competitive side, aren't they?
They are, and especially up here, they've got a terrific record at Manuka.
There's on the ground, it's Shannon Watt there as well.
I know it's only early days, but just because you made the finals last year doesn't mean that that's just going to happen again this year. You've still got to get your preparation right. They're certainly missing some players, Geelong, but they certainly need to make sure that they stick to the beliefs, philosophies, game plan, style of play that got them there last year.
Jared Rook tried to find James Bartell. Harvey started the game in magnificent fashion. Kicked the first goal for the Kangaroos, was certainly the best player on the ground to half-time as the siren sounds. And that's a terrific win for the Kangaroos. Their membership has been down at the same time as last year, about 500 down. That should boost membership sales today. If you're a Kangaroo supporter, get on board, because they're going to be very competitive again. And there's young Daniel Motlop, kicked a couple of goals as well. And Jess Sinclair, we know Daniel Wells. There's some good young players down the Kangaroos. Too good today. The scoreboard probably still doesn't even reflect their dominance. 7-12-54. They've won by 25 points over the Cats, 4-5-29.
2 goals each to Daniel Motlop and Brent Harvey. Singles to Corey Jones, Nathan Thompson and Lee Harding for the Roos, while for the Cats, all single goal kickers. Mooney, Playfair, Ablett and Josh Hunt. The Roos led at every change, 13 at quarter time, 8 at half time, 11 at three-quarter time, before adding 3 goals, 4 to 1 goal, 2 in the final term to run out 25-point winners as we head down to Brad Seymour.
Thank you, Jason. With me is Nathan Thompson. Nathan, 13 possessions, 4 marks and a goal. That's a good outing in these conditions today.
Yeah, I was certainly running out of breath towards the end. I was hoping for a 3rd or 4th win, but yeah, it was great to have a win first up and, you know, get into the game.
You battled well all day. A new lease of life with a new club?
Oh, it's been great. Great bunch of blokes and a good club, and it's, you know, it's just great to have a win.
Great to see you competing really well, and good luck for the rest of the season,
Thanks,
Nathan.
Brad. Cheers.
So Nathan Thompson, first up winner in his new club. He and Lance Piccioni both contributed to the Kangaroos' success this afternoon. There's Kane Tenace with a nice pack just on the shoulder or the AC joint there.
Cameron Mooney's got a similar one on his ankle, JB.
So, yes, the Roos go through to play the winner of Adelaide and Port Adelaide. That'll be in Melbourne next week, and that was one of the things Dean Laidley was keen on. They knew if they could win this game from a membership perspective, they get to go home and play in front of their loyal fans back in Melbourne next weekend. So a good result all round for the Kangaroos. It was a tough slog for 3.5 quarters, really. It was just towards the end of the game that they managed to kick a couple of goals and break away for a 25-point win. But Jace, we started the broadcast by saying they've got some ground that they lost last year to make up this year. We know they're going to be competitive week in, week out. There's going to be some tight games that are going to decide whether they make the finals or miss the finals. They're going to be somewhere around that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th sort of position. And days like today, this game was up for grabs halfway through the last quarter, and they did what they had to do.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty typical display from a Kangaroos outfit that you expect for this time of year. I mean, they're always fit, well drilled, well prepared, ready to go early on. They like to make their mark early. As you say, teams that aren't one of the natural league leaders, one of the top 4 sides or top 6 sides, they've got to do everything earlier and better to get their membership up, to get the supporters interested in the club, to make things happen for themselves. And you knew they were going to come up here and try to make a big impression. They've done that. It's a matter of whether they can transfer this good early season form into the 22 weeks of the home and away and set themselves up for perhaps a little bit of September action in 2005.
Got a great record up here in Canberra. They've now won 14 of their 19 games from all starts, including Wizard Cup and Premiership matches. They pride themselves on having Canberra as their second home, and as Kevin Bartlett mentioned, membership-wise, it's been a real boost for them up here. And all the youngsters, the first gamers, some of the not-so-youngsters, honoured in the middle of the circle as the Roos prepare to sing their song. Kangaroos 25-point winners here at Manuka Oval. They progress to meet the winner of Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Well, they led by 11 points at three-quarter time. Geelong came out, put their bodies on the line. The Kangaroos didn't shirk the issue, and at one stage the Cats were coming at them, but the Roos managed to steady and get away with the win.
They did, Jason. The important thing was, I think, that Geelong's slow start certainly cost them in the end. They were always going to be playing catch-up footy, and you see here with just how slippery it was early there, but this was really direct play. Sinclair straight down the middle. Harding's body use here was terrific against Hunt, and he scored the goal that probably just really nailed the game for them. So I think Dean Laidley would have taken a lot of positives out of this game. Won the travel, now you can go to Melbourne. A little bit of push and shove. Nathan Thompson here grabs the ball, quick snap, and this is what he's renowned for, and that's kicking goals. But we touched on the fact that Dean Laidley will be pretty happy with the work he's done further up the field as well. Shannon Grant, I thought, was pretty lively at the start of the last quarter. Out wide again to space, and this was just a fantastic goal. Daniel Motlop, certainly cream comes to the top, and he did that in that particular fashion there and kicked a great goal, and that just sealed the game beyond doubt.
Nathan Thompson will slot pretty neatly into that forward line. You've got the likes of Motlop and Petrie. There's some exciting young talent around him. As we take a look at the final numbers, Kangaroos led the disposal count right from the opening. They had a lot more of it in the first quarter and led the whole way through. They led the contested possessions all afternoon, which, as we've mentioned a couple of times, was important. And if you scroll down a couple of lines to clearances, it directly relates. The more often you get contested possessions in close, the better you go in clearances. And ultimately, ended up with a hell of a lot more inside 50s, 54 to 35. They wasted a lot of them going forward, but ultimately it was a percentage game. The more they went in, eventually they had to make some count.
Yeah, those figures reflect a pretty clear dominance. 60 more possessions, that's the equivalent of, 3 pretty handy players out in the ground and an extra 20-odd inside 50s. You know you're going to win the game pretty comfortably.
That would be disturbing for Bomber that he only had 35 inside 50s for the game. It's a very, very low score.
Plenty more great football action coming away live and exclusive to Fox Footy tonight. Join us from 7:30 Eastern from Amy Stadium. There'll be plenty of filling in this one, Adelaide and Port Adelaide. And then next weekend, the round 2 of the Wizard Cup. Another big game, West Coast and Collingwood from Marara Oval in Darwin. You'll catch that one live right around Australia on Fox Footy from 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So difficult conditions here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. The Kangaroos led all day. They led by 13 points at quarter time, 8 points at half time, 11 points at three-quarter time before running out 25-point winners, 7-12-54. The Geelong 4-5-29, 2 goals each to Motlop and Brent Harvey. Jason Bennett on behalf of Jason Dunstall, Gary Ayres, Kevin Bartlett, Brad Seymour and the entire production team wishing you a good afternoon from Canberra.